Ah, holy shit.
Huh?
Probably should not have sworn at the start.
Yeah, probably not. Hello, everybody. It is funny that, like, the one time... Hey, actually, we're not late. We were technically started. It's still 8:30. And it is funny, though, to me. If you can't tell from the sound of my voice, the one day we start pretty much on time is the day that I am horribly fucking sick. The last 2.5 days... Oh my god. It's the worst flu I've ever had. But I think... the last 2 days, I've done nothing but just knockback cough syrup and, like, that has paracetamol in it and stuff like that, and aspirin, but then also taking, because it was so bad, I mean, here is my symptom. Every single inch of my body was aching. I have a horrible pain in my left hand lower abdomen, shooting pains in my right hand upper chest in the back. I had heart palpitations and shortness of breath. I really thought, like, I told Spoon about this, I thought I was gonna have to go to the hospital because it was so bad. And I had a migraine that last night, I woke up at like 4 in the morning. I had a migraine that was so bad that I had a dream about having my hair ripped out. And when I woke up, I had mild paralysis on that same side of my head. Like, I couldn't open my eye and my jaw was like, I couldn't move my jaw. It was it's the worst, I think, flu that at least I can ever remember having. And I've had COVID 3 times. I don't think this is COVID. I don't know what the hell this is, but it's absolutely terrible. However, I was given a suggestion by Spoon, which was to try a hot toddy, and I took that. I took a half a codeine tablet, and then I took like just Bill got some a mix of paracetamol and aspirin with caffeine, and then I took that with this mixture of hot water. Bill put like a splash of orange juice and a splash of cranberry juice in it, and then whiskey and a lemon. And oh my god, all of us, like, it was, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I still feel like, you know, pretty shit, but I feel at like noon, I would say I was at like 2%. Again, I was thinking I was gonna have to go to the hospital, and now I feel at like 65, 70%. Unbelievable. I think I needed sugar, right?
That and whiskey.
Well, I looked it up, and apparently,
Now we have
a lot of
whiskey
people
and
think
blues.
that whiskey does something to help it, but I think actually more than anything, I think it's actually the honey. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe
I think
not,
it's
yeah.
actually the honey and the lemon and orange and cranberry. Because I haven't had any. All I've been drinking is just like diet Sprite. I bet if I had been drinking regular full sugar Sprite, I would have felt a lot better. But I was drinking diet Sprite, and I mean, it was awful. Like, you know, also I was puking and all that stuff. Like, it was just like I've never been so sick where I had a migraine so bad that I couldn't open my eye. You know what I mean? That was a new one for me. Yeah, I had mild paralysis on the right side of my face when I woke up this morning. I've never had something that ever. And then also what was really disconcerting to me is the heart palpitations and the mixing alcohol and codeine. Not a great idea. It's a really, really low amount of codeine. And I'm only taking like half of a pill. And in fact, you know, I moved on to taking just regular paracetamol, and actually that was way better than taking, because the codeine, I was shocked because I was taking the codeine for like a full day and it wasn't doing anything. It was like providing really mild relief, and I was thinking, oh my god, I'm dying because even codeine's not helping. So that's scary. That's why I thought, you know, oh man, this is something really bad here. But I think it was just that I had no glucose. Particularly when you're throwing up, you know, you're losing all of your electrolytes, right? So I think I just needed to have proper sugar and not, you know, diet Sprite. I think that was it, and just chugging back cough syrup wasn't helping. And thank you all who watched my new video. DRT is King for 2 says, great video today, Aiden. Thank you so much for watching it. I worked really hard on it. I would have liked it to come out a couple days ago, but it did take YouTube about 5 days to give it the go-ahead. But hey, they gave it the go-ahead. It's fully monetized, which is really good on YouTube. And to me, also the fact that it took them 5 days to go over it tells me someone at YouTube, a real human being, actually looked at that video. Because so often it is, and this is why I have a pretty good relationship with YouTube, because generally speaking, they actually, and I know not everybody does. I think it's because my videos aren't actually that controversial, even though this one had controversial elements, but it didn't, because I mean, it was about COVID, but there was nothing in it that I think was truly controversial, and they recognized that, obviously, because it's going to be what's going to happen in the near future, is that there's going to be there's already calls, it's in the Atlantic, it's in the New York Times, of COVID amnesty, and that's where we're at. Gary Thomas for 10 says, hey, Aiden and Spoon, did you hear about the UK military not having enough budget to manpower to protect their allies or the homeland? Not sure of the veracity of the article, but still stay safe. Not sure about that. However, yeah. I do have an interesting article about the UK. Actually. I'm not surprised by that. I do have an interesting article about the UK tonight that I find to be ridiculous. We'll get into that. And Gary Thomas, for another 5, says, also, can you guys tell me what organizations like NATO, UN, and EU actually do? Not sure the purpose of their existence. Oh, it's Globo...
Globo Homo, all of them. I can give a brief overview of all of them. You know the thing. Mm-hmm. Like, NATO obviously started out as the post-World War II alliance.
Yes.
After the fall of the Third Reich and the... booming of the Soviet Union, and you had, Western Germany, Eastern Germany, and then this is the military defense for the Western Alliance. Explicitly anti-Soviet, which is largely okay. Let's be fair. The Soviet Union had no freaking they wanted to take over the West as well. Let's not get confused about that one. It was the Cold War. Whereas America right now has no intention of doing anything bad with Russia at all. No. Not even.
Also, not that Russia. Like, let's not. People call me a Putin simp and stuff. So let's not act like Putin's a good guy either. Okay, but to act like somehow the opposite is true. That the West is entirely good and well intentioned. Explicitly. It's completely silly and nonsensical and not based in historical or current geopolitical reality. It's based on fantastical thinking and viewing
the world is safe for democracy, says that fucker Woodrow Wilson from the grave.
Democracy, yeah. Dude Guy McPants for $10. Yeah, it says, Aiden, I can tell you're sick because you're talking at normal speed. Yeah, I know, right? I have to put the stream at 1.5 so you sound like normal you. Oh, sorry, yeah. Well, like I said, I don't know what is on, what organ is on the lower left-hand side of your abdomen, but whatever it is, I think I blew it out from coughing so much. The only thing that's been okay about this particular sick is that I haven't had a sore throat. No sore throat, really? Just congestion. Yeah, that's normally really I expect weird. That. I know, right? There's no sore throat. Just congested. But then every other, it was so the
you were
muscle
vomiting
pain.
And you have no sore throat?
Yeah, and the muscle pain really was so bad I could barely. It's better now. I was shocked. The muscle pain got better after having the hot toddy and then doing because I've been taking the codeine for days and that wasn't helping. Maybe it's my spleen. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. It hurt. I think I just blew something out from coughing too much. So it'd probably be better in a day or two. Because yesterday I had really sharp pains in my upper right hand side, in my lung, and I didn't know what but it was like a sharp stabbing pain. Anyway, it's stinky. But it's probably my spleen or pancreas. Let's hope I don't have to have anything removed. I don't think so. I think I just coughed hard and something. You know what I mean?
See, here's the thing. I have something in store for Aiden because here's how Aiden and I work. Aiden can find something and go, hoo, this will piss Spoon off, and then she'll show it to me with the explicit purpose of pissing me off. I don't have anything like that for her. If I find something that pisses me off, if I send it to Aiden, she's going to be more pissed off with it than I am. That's generally how it was.
Probably.
Yes, so I saw something earlier today, which we're going to take a look at, because it's going to be good fun, and I want to see Aiden pissed off, even if she's sick.
Yes.
Because it will happen.
So I haven't seen it, but it's this David Pac-Man video you mentioned, right?
Yeah. Remember, you guys remember Patrick, who chewed the crap out of Neil deGrasse Tyson on his show?
Yes.
It was him.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and he had David Pac-Man on, and they're discussing taxes. And David Pac-Man... How can I describe this? If you were to take a drink every time he says something disingenuous, you're gonna die during the stream.
Interesting.
Because the amount of times he says shit that just make me go, you damn well knew what he fucking said, you son of a bitch. It's like insane.
Pac-Man is the definition of disingenuous.
Oh my god, yes.
That's that shit he did with Steven Crowder and Ethan Klein.
The violent impulses in me was like firing and
You told me it. Yes, you told me. You said it made you violent.
Like, oh my god, it made me so fucking angry.
Before we get into things that make us completely mad, can we get into things that are kind of hilarious?
Can I tell my story first?
Right. Yes.
This would be a nice segue, actually.
Right. Okay. I told my story, so tell you a story before we get into the title and topic of the stream.
Yes. So now, if you guys don't know. Because why would you? I have a t-shirt, and I swear to God, I have a t-shirt that says, "Welcome to heaven if you're white and not gay." Now, the reason I have the shirt...
It sounded like you said teacher, but you mean t-shirt.
No, a t-shirt. Yeah. Right? Okay. And the reason is because several years ago, I was hanging out with a buddy of mine on like a chat site, and he said, in like this Gandalf voice, because he's very good at impressions, and he did like, if Gandalf was at like the pearly gates, it's like a greeter or something. And he said, "Welcome to heaven if you're white and not gay." And I laughed my ass off to the point where I was in tears. And I messaged my friend Lisa to tell her about this. And I just like, God, you just gotta hear what Ryan just said. And then a couple of weeks go by, right?
Yeah.
Then I get something in the mail. And I'm like, what the hell? Does this feel soft? It's like clothes. I don't know what the hell. And I open it up, and all I see is like that slogan on the t-shirt. And I went, what the and this message was like, you do realize there's no one in hell I can wear this outside the house, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Reasons. Right, so that is probably the most offensive piece of attire that I own, which is a nice segue into the next story. I actually think that there's another story I want to move into real quick, because you mentioned the guy sounding like Gandalf. It's really quick. Is that oh god, yeah, this is fun. People are really mad about these AI generated voices. Now I've had a bunch of people send them to me so far.
You've sent some to me. Great. I've sent some to you. Like I don't know. Can I don't think I can play the ones that I sent or that you've sent.
The Gandalf, the Biden one was like fucking.
These are really rough. I don't. Like,
dude, the Biden one was so good. I just said, if you could just get him to lip sync his speeches. He should just get the fucking AI to do it, because you never tell. It sounds better than what he does. The AI, sorry. The AI is more coherent than he is.
Yeah, which one is this?
Mild.
Hang on. 1 second. I'm gonna mute myself for 1 second.
I haven't heard the Abby Shapiro one.
Oh, did I play you one? What's this one?
Welcome to New Mexico.
Oh god.
That was... Did you listen to the Agent 47 one?
No.
Which was okay. Oh, this one actually. This one's fine.
That's the recruiter.
This is the Alec Baldwin. This is the Alec Baldwin one. I'm just gonna. So just to show you, this is the kind of stuff that they're getting mad about.
Right.
Welcome to New Mexico 47. Your target, renowned kinematographer Helena Hutchins, can be found on set preparing the daily shoot for the day. With famous actor Alec Baldwin at the helm of production, you should expect a heightened and more observant security presence, but certainly nothing you haven't handled before. Good luck, 47. That is Helena Hutchins, acclaimed director of photography and covert operative for Providence. Stay sharp, 47. Choosing a prop gun to incriminate the lead actor? Interesting choice as always, 47. Alas, I dare say a premature retirement for both parties is in order. The target is down, and not even by your own hand. Excellent work, 47. The money is being transferred now. It's Time to make your exit.
Okay, that one's quite good. I think the one I sent you earlier is a Ben Shapiro one. I can't remember how bad this is, so if I have to shut it off, I'll shut it off.
Will you fucking stop talking about my sister's massive tits? Fuck.
So here's why they're okay. So the Agent 40, or excuse me, like the woman from Hitman is one thing. The woman from Hitman is fine, but why people are getting mad is because it can obviously do anybody's voice.
Will you fucking stop talking about my sister's massive tits? Fuck. I mean, I know they are huge, gigantic. I grew up with her, for fuck's sake. Every day of my teenage years, I had to come in my Asuka pillow while imagining Abby naked. I even masturbated while licking her toothbrush, for fuck's sake. What kind of faggot wouldn't want to come on those enormous milkers? But I digress. As I was saying, trannies are fucking...
I can't say anything. Yeah, that's it. It's pretty bad.
I like the way that's the bit where you cut off because it's too bad.
Like, we're already in so much trouble for that one. Like, whatever.
I don't think you can keep the stream.
No, it's fine.
Really?
Yeah, it's fine. It was just curse words.
I feel like there might be legal complications to this.
No, but I'm showing an example of, obviously, as I'm saying, that's generated by AI. That's not really Ben Shapiro.
Oh shit!
Obviously. I know, but I'm just letting people know, like, that's not really Ben Shapiro. However, people are mad. So AI-generated voice firm clamps down after 4chan makes celebrity voices for abuse. 4chan members use 11 labs to make deepfake voices of Emma Watson, Joe Rogan, and others saying racist, transphobic, and violent things. By the way, I don't know if this particular article goes into it, but what it made Emma Watson say was it just made her read Mein Kampf.
Oh, that's kind of based.
How is it based? It's just funny.
Because it's funny. Like, you give 4chan, it's going to be like, what's the stuff that we're not allowed to say in society? Oh, I know, let's say all those things. It's like,
right,
what did you think they were going to do, you moron?
It's basic psychological reactance. Anyone who studied psychology even a little bit knows this.
Oh.
So, yeah, in one example, a generated voice that sounds like actor Emma Watson reads a section of Mein Kampf, and another, a voice similar to Ben Shapiro makes racist remarks about Ocasio-Cortez, and a third, someone saying trans rights or human rights is strangled, and another, Rick Sanchez from the animated show Rick and Morty says, "I'm going to beat my wife, Morty. I'm going to beat my effing wife, Morty. I'm going to beat her to death, Morty." Justin Roiland, who voices Rick Sanchez, recently appeared in court at a pre-trial hearing for charges of felony domestic violence.
Do you think we can make AOC say something smart?
No.
Really? You can't use an AI?
I don't even think AI can do that. I don't even think AI can do that.
You know what you need to do? You need to get a really flaming homosexual to say something straight. Have you ever heard someone with a gay accent say something like straight sexual? It's the weirdest fucking thing you will ever hear.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I think I've done it for you as a joke on the VC.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do the gay voice because people will say you were too good at that. Like, eh.
I'm very excited for this tool because, like, a lot of times when I'm doing,
there's going to be so many lawsuits. Oh my god, there's going to be like Nick is going to have a fucking field day with this shit. You don't think so?
I don't think so. No, because I don't think. I
mean, I definitely see some lawsuits in the future with this shit. There's going to be regulation the fuck out of this because the thing of it is that can you release any piece of text that like you can maybe monetize and it's somebody's voice? It's gonna be, is that voice your property? This is
all of this is coming to a head very quickly. There was a woman who's like a Twitch streamer. Her name's like QT something. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. She's got like 1 million subscribers or something, but she was really upset because people made deepfake pornography of her. And I understand why she's upset, but like you're not gonna be able to stop people from doing this now. Anonymous people are going to do it. The technology is out there. You're not gonna be able to stop it.
Yep.
Like, it's just, this is how it is now, and you're not
going
to be able to walk back. You're just not going to be able to walk back from it. There's no walking back from this. So, by the way, this versions of the technology has existed for years. I mean, like, I've played this before, I think, either on this channel or somewhere else, but, you know, like, this is just, the technology is getting so good so quickly that obviously this was going to happen at some point. Hang on. have you the Ben Shapiro WAP video, for example, right? Whoop. Go. I mean, like, this is from like a year or so ago, and you can see it's not anywhere near as good, but now it's so much better.
Yeah, you effing some wet ass P-word. Bring a bucket and a mop.
And this is from him actually saying this. They just put his face on it, right? He actually was singing this stuff, or he was reading the words, right? But like, this is just gonna get, in my opinion, way more interesting.
This wet ass P-word. Give me.
I don't want to get copyrighted for that song.
You know what's really weird though?
Huh?
If it gets a little bit better, it's gonna look less like Ben Shapiro and more like Brett Cooper.
I mean, the whole point was just.
She looks so much like she could be Ben's little sister. It's fucking creepy.
That is true. On its website, 11 Labs offers both speech synthesis and voice cloning. For the latter, 11 Labs says it can guarantee a clone of someone's voice from a clean sample recording over 1 minute length. What I'm excited about using this for is that, like, in most of my videos, I have quotes from people that are from studies, and I wouldn't necessarily want to use anyone in particular's voice, but I would like to use like just an AI model that has a realistic sounding voice, because otherwise I have to go bother my friends and be like, hey, would you mind doing some voice recording for me? And I don't really like to ask people to have to do that, because I don't like to ask people to do anything. So
Except me.
Sometimes no, I mean, well, yeah, but you're my co-host, so that's we're co-hosts. I don't ask you to do a lot of.
I also do voice recording anyway, so I may as well.
You do sometimes. I mean, I do ask sometimes, but a lot of times I don't. Like there was stuff with my last video where I could have asked people to do some stuff, and I was like, nah, like it's fine.
Can I give you a sample of my voice and you run it through the AI?
Yeah, why don't I just do that? So then you don't have to ever do it again.
Yeah. And people would go, why the fuck is Spoon so much shit these days? Because someone
No, it's nothing like
it.
that. It's nothing like that. Well, I mean, like I can see how it could be a problem, but
Can someone
unfortunately, I don't
sample the AI voice and then run it through the AI again?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be an issue, but this is again been going on for years. Like, people are gonna sample my voice and
Make it say some horrible shit.
Make it say horrible shit, and I'll probably get in trouble with it, but it will be like, yeah, but where's the video where that came from? Oh, there's no video where it came from. It's because it's, made up. It's an AI. And it's the same thing. Like, it's just something that people are going to have to deal with, because, like, this is, fake stuff. People can make up screenshots. They've been doing that for decades. Yeah. So are people going to try and copyright their voices?
Did you really say this? It's like, no, I didn't really say that. Just the AI.
Well, people already have been doing that. It's just that the AI has gotten way better. They've been doing that, by the way, though. Look, 4 years ago or whatever, I was in a call with Kraut. He cut up my fucking speech, recorded me without my consent, cut up my speech, made me look insane. He cut out all the parts that he was saying, and then released that video. Like, it basically, like, this is not a new thing. People can do shit like that. They don't need AI to try and fuck with you. This is just a new way to do it.
A new racist and fun way.
I think it's small. I can feed the AI research papers and it makes the videos for you. No. I would never do something like that, because it's not going to be accurate.
Spoon is people.
Not really.
I'm not that fat that I can qualify as they pronouns.
Anywho,
that's funny, by the way.
11 Labs website says the company was founded on Monday, shortly after the clip circulated on 4chan. 11 Labs wrote on Twitter that crazy weekend.
Imagine using someone's AI voice to keep a YouTube channel going where the original owner has died. Oh my god, this is how Jim is going to make a comeback.
That's how Jim comes back. Somebody will. Oh, that's been happening for a while, right?
Someone made a fucking voice of Jim?
You don't know about the Jim fake account? Yeah.
Here's one problem, though. What makes Jim so good is his laugh.
Yeah, but it worked on this one. It was the... Oh, shit. What was it called?
Yeah, people are going to copyright their voices. I suspect that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, what was it? The fake Mr. Mediker. There was somebody who was making... It was called...
Yes, I know, I've done better jokes.
I'm just saying, like, that's not me saying that. It was the name of it's the name of the channel. I haven't watched them in a minute. But yeah, like, there's been this... Oh my god. Oh shit, I haven't seen... They've been doing stuff the entire time. Oh crap. To give you an idea, where's a good one? I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of these. There's a guy who's the name of the channel is Kill All Pedos. It's just the name of the channel. Just saying, I didn't make it up. It's just the name of the channel. I'm just gonna put it on screen here for a minute, like one of the videos. And this one is made using nothing but Medicare's voice clips.
Top in the sector.
This is not Medicare.
Whatever.
It's like mostly it's just like a video.
Oh. He's literally simping for this bitch.
Buying the whole. He bought the whole Amazon wish list. 2,000 across the face.
Don't y'all be a simp. Oh my. Oh, women are all dirty. Oh, don't you be a simp. As he's running around buying her every item on her Amazon wish list to the tune of $2,000.
Again, this is. I think that there is some AI involved in this, but it uses this was from like started doing this years ago, of just like basically trying to preserve Jim for forever.
She knew she had such a sucker that in those DM leaks, she actually added shit on to her Amazon wish list. When Ralph started talking about, I want to be your secret Santa, this chick went to Amazon and added another $400, $500 worth of shit to her Amazon wish list.
Anyway, I think you got a good idea of what I'm talking about with what that channel is like and how good it is at replicating Jim and has been for years. They've been doing it for like 2 years.
Yeah, so the AI might be even better at that.
No, that's old. It's old stuff. Like that's that's been around for a minute. This new stuff it's only going to get better and better, and so it's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with and cope with.
I can see so many people making clips with this, like, and now we have the president, Joe Biden. Joe, what do you have to say about this? And just like, there's going to be so much of that.
There's a bunch of real messed up Joe Biden ones I've already seen because there's no real stop. There's no stopping it. Just.
I want to see his face as someone play some clips back of him saying shit.
Yeah.
This is his face. Oh my god, he might stroke out. It'll be funny as well. Then being killed by your own voice.
Yeah, thank you to everyone trying out our beta platform. While we see our tech being overwhelmingly applied to positive use, we also see an increasing number of voice cloning misuse cases. 11 Labs added that while it can trace back any generated audio to a specific user, it was exploring more safeguards. There you go. So, like, they can already find out whatever you've done, right? If you make it using their software, they're going to be able to find who made it. These include requiring payment information. Oh, right, because this is a paid platform. You have to pay for this, right? And they'll be able to find. I don't know if that's a permanent solution or if it's a great solution, but it's the one they've got in place.
You have to pay every time you use it.
That's the way a lot of AI services work. Like the AI services I use for art, it's you have to pay every time you use it. Yeah.
How much?
You buy like coins or whatever into it.
Okay.
What's
and this is how Bitcoin gets in.
Novel AI. That's the one I use, which is for art. So like, hang on, let me log in. All right.
Are you allowed to see a preview before you do it?
Yeah. No. I'll just show you how this works. All right. Okay. So let's generate an image, right? What should I make? This is from my TTRPG because that describes my character. What should I put in? Because I was making like all of our characters from our role playing. Do you have any idea for an input? Chat, what would you like me to put in and we can make an image of? I tried to make Spoon, but it won't do it. What?
Spiked shoulders.
Spiked shoulders? What does that mean?
Like armor.
Spiked shoulder armor on who?
I don't know. On a Viking.
On a Viking. Chainsaw man eating a sandwich. Eating sand. Build Viking. How do I do that? No, I didn't. Eating a sandwich. with a lizard head. Cheese sandwich. Lizard Viking eating a cheese sandwich. All right, let's see.
Yeah, pauldron thing.
We'll see. Oh, right. Pauldron.
Yeah.
Cheese. Let's see what it gives me.
This better be
Oh,
good.
it's real
Otherwise,
thinking. Oh, it's thinking about it hard. I mean, it's not entirely wrong.
I like the way he's instantly in shape.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah. And he's got like unusually developed boobies.
Yeah. Anywho, like, this is dangerously furry. Am I running the furry thing? Because there's one that, like, the character that I was just running was, yeah, that's why. The character that I was running from our TTRPG is a centaur, so I had to put it on the furry
I was wondering, like, why the hell is it an animal?
Because otherwise it...
Okay, that's
Anywho, it's so weird, right? But it's so cool. I have it on... Again, I had to put it on the furry thing, because otherwise it wouldn't understand the centaur character. The character didn't start out as a centaur. She got turned into a centaur against my wishes. But... What? Oh, I like the little fat lizard thing he's got. I don't know why his head is bread. The point is, I like a... Oh my god, don't look at that.
Why is there a sandwich strapped to their forehead?
I don't know. It's all bizarre. The point is, AI art is weird.
No shit.
Let's get away with that. Let's move on to the real chicken meat of this stream.
Yeah, Robo, because I'm not blind. The fucking AI had some unusually like sculpted titties. Like, it's the first thing I see. It's also the center of the picture.
It's look. I had to put it on the when I put it on outside the furry one. It just had her riding a horse. It never made her into a centaur, so I had to do that.
That's simple. By the way, this woman looks like Beetlejuice's like sister or something.
All right, so here's the most amazing story, and here's the reason for being of the night. Would you ever take this one for me, please, Spoon?
Let's see. The food service director for an impoverished South suburban school district is accused of stealing $1.5 million worth of food, mainly chicken wings, according to court documents.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure all of you have at least
Don't make the joke.
five racist jokes in your head.
Don't make a joke.
Because I have at least 10.
How do you steal 1.5 million in chicken?
Very slowly.
Vera Liddell, 60. What'd you say, Bill? It was specifically wings. Well, that's what the article says, but we'll read into it more. Vera Liddell, 66, worked for Harvey School District 152 for more than a decade, according to a LinkedIn account associated with your name. The massive fraud began at the height of COVID during a time when students were not allowed to be physically present in school. So basically, yeah, in 3 years, not really over a decade.
In what's the name of the AI art generator?
That's Novel AI.
There you go.
Yeah, check out at Novel AI. It's actually quite cheap. You just buy credits, and it's
just Mr. Twisted Frenzy for $5 now.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah, Mr. Twisted Fantasy. Check out Novel AI, and the thing that's cool about it is that if you like one image, but it's kind of messed up, like for
furry mode.
Furry mode, and thank you, Hastava. But no, I had to switch it to the furry mode to get it to understand centaurs. And as for the Novel AI thing, is that like if you find an image that you kind of like, but it's something screwed up about it, like the hands are messed up, which is very common in AI, you can rerun it through the AI again, and be like, I kind of like this, but I'd like something better, and you can do that too.
Damn it, V, why are you streaming right now? I should take the piss out of him.
It's $30 for a month of Infinite Generations Mid-Journey. I'm not familiar with that one, James. Esparza. But yeah, check that one out. Novelia is just the one that I've used, so I don't know. And it's given me some pretty cool stuff. Like I started using it to like make art of the characters from our Pathfinder camp. And it's done some cool stuff. We have some other people who've done all kinds of stuff. Yeah, 1500 graphics card and get the stable. yeah. Don't know about that. Anywho, massive fraud began at the height of the COVID pandemic during a time when students were not allowed to physically be at school. Rates of fraud were presented at the Lydell's bond hearing.
Like even though the
children were learning remotely, the school district continued to provide meals for the students that their families could pick up.
So see, jacked $500,000 worth of chicken wings every year.
Well, I don't know if it was just chicken wings. That's what it says, but
mainly chicken wings.
This is a thing that happens in a lot of these inner city schools. Like, for example, when I was going to school in Baltimore City, it would be that if they had to provide, even at my school, which was a charter school, they had to provide breakfast and lunch to the students, and it's one of the reasons why the schools would not close. There would be days in Baltimore where because my school was technically part of Baltimore City Public Schools, even though it was like charter. The argument was that I'm not joking. The argument was that if
horrible racism.
purple drink. The argument is that if kids didn't go to school, they would starve to death because it's the only way that they could get food because their parents didn't feed them. So it didn't matter. I'm just saying, like, there would be a full-on, like, solid 2 inches of ice on the road. It was undrivable. It was it was a real super fucking danger and massive risk to life and limb to have buses running on these roads, and yet they would still keep the schools open because they needed to keep the schools open, because if they weren't open, the argument was then the kids won't eat. And so...
This isn't a school, this is like a self-service restaurant almost.
I mean, well, I'm just saying that's how it was in Baltimore City when I was going to school there. And so it would be like it was in... Because the most frustrating thing then is that at my school, you were only allowed so many days off a year that you could take off, even if you were sick, even if you were, if you were dying and stuff. You can only have so many sick days off a year before they started to dock your grades. So, you had to try and make it to school, despite the fact that there was literally 2 inches of solid ice on the ground.
Oof.
Try and make it, because Baltimore... And the thing that would be crazy is that I remember waking up in the morning, right?
Right.
And look at the TV. Every single school district is closed, except Baltimore City schools. Why? Because Baltimore City schools have to stay open so kids can get their breakfast and lunch.
That's kind of...
Yeah. DRT's King says, Aiden, pray nothing's wrong with your pancreas. As being a type 1 diabetic sucks, and you have to give up alcohol and eat a fairly regimented diet. I don't think thank you, man, but I don't think it's that serious. I think I'm just sick. I think I just coughed myself into... It actually feels a lot better now.
Aiden's mind is going like, no, I need the alcohol.
No, it actually does feel a lot better.
I cannot survive without the sweet nectar of heavens.
No, I gotta get over it at some point.
What, alcohol?
Yeah, obviously.
I just drink less of it.
Yeah,
or you can switch to really hard liquor and keep it in small doses.
That is what I do.
Oh, okay. Not get drunk with it, Aiden.
Alright. So, even though the children were learning remotely, the school district continued to provide meals for the students. Court cases accuses Lydell of ordering more than 11,000 cases of chicken wings from the school district's food provider and then picking up the order in a district cargo van. The food was never brought to the school or provided to the students. 11,000 cases of chicken wings. District funds were used to pay for the food, according to the prosecutors, who did not reveal what became of the chicken wings. They probably don't. She sold them.
Yeah, but looks
obviously. She obviously sold it. to
Read the next bit, because the next bit's fucking insane.
The scheme was uncovered by the district business manager during a routine mid-year audit. The manager found the district was $300,000 over its annual food service budget, despite only being halfway through the school year, according to the prosecutors. She discovered individual invoices signed by Lydell for massive quantities of chicken wings, an item that was never served to students because they contain bones. Oh shit. So, they don't even order this food. Court records say employees of the district food provider, Gordon Food Services, were all familiar with the defendant due to the mass amount of chicken wings she would purchase. She's been doing this for years then.
Yep.
The case was investigated by Cook County State Attorney Office, and Lydell was charged with theft. She's in custody with the Cook County Jail with a $150,000 bond. Harvey School District's 152 interim superintendent Layla Bridges said she's only been on the job since last week. She told WGN she was aware of the charges but had no comment due to the ongoing investigation. The district consists of 5 schools. Records indicate the district's total enrollment is 1,600 children, with more than 80% of the students qualifying as low income.
Insane.
So over 10 years...
How the hell do you have a budget of over 300 grand? That's insane.
She's been selling them to local... My guess is she's been selling them to local, chicken wing shops, right? I mean, she's obviously not eating them herself. She's not that fat. She's actually quite thin. She's been selling this shit.
Very offensive.
But I'm saying she's not fat.
I mean,
She's not fat enough that she's eating 1.5 million
that is a lot of
chicken
crack.
wings.
What, too offensive?
No.
Okay.
Bill said this bitch on keto.
Oh. I don't know, is crack keto?
No.
It might be. Sure as hell isn't carb heavy.
Bill says that chicken wings are used as a basis for tummy glaze, so she might have been upselling them. I kind of doubt that, though.
Someone said base. I don't know if it's base.
She mostly just pocketed the and whatever she was doing. Wait, what was it, Bill? Oh, Bill says that over here in Guernsey, the hospital got caught doing the same thing, where people were taking it from the hospital and reselling it. Oh, it was never arriving to the hospital and someone was reselling it. Well, it sounds like the same shit, that it wasn't arriving.
What the hell is wrong with people? This is what happens with economy shit. You're forced to do this kind of shady shit.
Here's a related thing with chicken. Is that the egg supply...
What the hell,
tonight, last spring in March.
Oh my god, why can I not pause this?
Explained that the
Jesus
sanctions he was
Christ.
imposing against Russia, while morally necessary.
Just click on the bottom right corner.
That's infuriating. Yeah, I got it. Well, it was the only ones went into the bottom corner, you could even close it out. Goddamn box. Oh, why we're paranoid about the American food supply? Tucker Carlson ties Americans' food shortages to unexplainable chicken problems. And last spring and March, a press conference in Brussels, Joe Biden explained that sanctions he was imposing against Russia, while morally necessary, were also going to cause food shortages around the world, including here in the US. It's going to be real. Yeah, that's true. Now, Biden said this in a very odd way. There was no hint or panic, emotions you'd expect from a leader predicting the deaths of human beings from starvation. None of that. Instead, there was pure nonchalant casualness. Biden could have been describing the weather or a trip to the dry cleaners. It's going to be real. And Biden continued, recounting a conversation he had with European allies. He told us all about it. When he met with the group, Biden said they spoke about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. That's what Biden said verbatim. How we can increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages.
That's kind of a weird thing to say out loud.
But he says stupid shit like that all the time. But it sounds like Joe, that you're saying you want there to be more food shortages.
Oh, he doesn't care as long as he gets his pudding cup. And his ice cream.
Then Biden continued recounting a conversation he had with European allies. He told us all about it. When he met with the group, Biden said they spoke about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortage. Yeah, sorry. So here you have the president of the United States pledging to increase food shortages at a press conference. That seemed like a newsworthy event, but not a single news organization in this country seemed to notice it had happened. Or did the White House correct it? But others were watching. So within days, that clip wound up on social media, and Facebook flagged it as false news. Of course they did. Naturally speaking, that's untrue. There's nothing false about the video. It was entirely real. No one can test that. But apparently, Facebook users were supposed to understand that Joe Biden is senile and therefore not accountable for his own words. That really is the argument, right? That we're all supposed to understand that Joe Biden is brain dead, and therefore, we're supposed to understand that he says things wrong, and we're supposed to be able to translate for his broken brain.
That is basically the sort of like one that laid the golden fucking egg, the goose that laid the golden egg, is that if he says something that we don't friggin' know, it's like, oh, it's because he's got dementia.
It was like, but
then if you can never take him seriously because
tested.
Oh,
but they say no, it's not fair. You can't test him because he's totally healthy. How dare you? Even though you made Trump take a dementia test,
and Trump passed with flying colors. It's
unbelievable. It's absolutely fucking insane. It just shows you that people are like, we're completely controlled by tyrants.
Yeah,
by tyrants who hate you, and I think love rubbing it in your face that they do this kind of.
But Aiden, remember, democracy's great.
Yeah, Bill said, "Get fucked, Antichrist," and I admit I hate the Antichrist. I hate the Antichrist. I hate the Antichrist.
Which one?
Your local providers. Get a plug for eggs.
Yeah, get a plug for eggs. I mean, Tim Pool actually was right, wasn't he? Goddamn. Get chickens. Yeah. Buy chickens.
Let's not get ahead of saying really Tim Pool was right.
Bill said don't say extremist shit like Tim Pool was right. But he was right. He said go get chickens, and he was right. He does have a coop.
Free rabbit.
I heard free rabbits? What?
He says it was 3 rabbit hutches and a chain link fence. Look, Tim Pool was right, Bill. You should, Tim Pool was right. Get chickens. I don't know if he... I know we've got chickens. But Tim couldn't have known, but still he was right. Ardent Party for 2 Canadians says, Tucker says liberate Canada. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, I agree as well. Taking Joe Biden literally qualifies as misinformation. Yeah, if you just take his own words, it's misinformation. Now we'll leave that whole episode for you to assess. We can't know what Joe Biden was thinking, if anything, when he uttered those words in Brussels. We can only tell you what happened afterwards. Strange disasters began to beset food processors all over the United States. In April, the next month, the headquarters of one of the country's largest organic food distributors was destroyed in a fire. Cause unknown. The next month, in a single week, actually 2 separate private plane crashes took out 2 separate food processing centers. One plane hit a General Mills plant in Georgia. The other plane hit a food plant in Idaho.
Yeah, of all the places it could hit.
It could have just fallen into the sea. But it didn't. 2 planes within a month, within a single week, hit 2 food processing plants.
Yeah.
By the way, back in February, a boiler explosion obliterated a potato processing plant in Oregon, and so on.
I wonder if planes were ever used in the past for political reasons.
No, never.
This is the most edgiest joke I've made in a while.
No one's ever used a plane to do a little terrorism.
Moving on.
So even people who aren't given to connecting the dots, who don't think of themselves as conspiracy nuts, begin to wonder, is there something here? But no one could tell. The Biden admin had no answers, and no way to get the answers because they had no data. That's interesting because the Biden admin tracks a lot of things. The things that it cares about. The race and ethnicity and sex life, for example, of every person in America. Do we even have trans-Pacific Islanders playing woodwinds in major symphonies?
That sounds like something Tucker would say.
Yeah, this is the pure, what do you call it, transcript of Tucker's monologue. I'm just reading it because, even though Fox News never claims anybody, just reading it rather than playing it. How about gay Southeast Asians in long-haul trucking? These are the questions that concern the bean counters in the Biden administration. And yet, at the same time, the same administration keeps no real records of what the infrastructure of our food supply, records of whatever. That's how you can tell it's a transcript, because there's grammatical errors. Apparently, that never occurred to them. So honestly, we can't really know one way or another because we don't have a baseline, whether something strange is going on with food suppliers. But some days you do wonder. On Saturday, an enormous commercial egg farm in central Connecticut burned to the ground for no obvious reason. A huge fire, at least 20 fire departments responded, fought a blaze for over 8 hours. More than 100,000 chickens died. Now that's a sad story, but what's interesting is that most media companies did not consider it a story at all. We're considering egg prices have become an actual problem for most Americans. Egg prices are up more than 100% in many places. And yet at exact moment, when eggs are a concern, 100,000 chickens die in a freak fire. And the New York Times, which is right next door in a neighboring state, doesn't even cover the fire. What's that? Don't worry. Things like this have nothing to do with egg prices, says the media. It's just avian flu. Watch. Reporter. Egg consumption has grown over the years as many people are eating them as their main source of protein. But the production has slumped because of the ongoing avian flu epidemic.
Yeah, I'm
Have
sure
you
that's
heard
the
about?
reason.
Has anyone brought up the avian flu epidemic up until this year when egg prices are through the roof?
Nope.
Were they through the roof in any years past this kind of way?
Nope.
Because right now, like, the...
I remember bird flu affecting chickens.
Yeah, Bill said it cropped about 2-3 months ago, which is correct. Right. So this is... All of a sudden, this crops up 2 or 3 months ago. It was not a problem through the entire COVID pandemic. I mean, like, everything was up in cost, but not in the way that eggs are now.
Yeah, no, not remotely.
Bill said something about the ban on free-range chickens, but hang on, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Cropped up
2
or 3 months. Used as an excuse. Crack.
Oh, Bill says that the ban on avian flu stuff was an excuse to crack down on small holdings of chickens, so it made it really difficult for small farmers to, if not impossible for small farmers. So the only way you can get eggs now are factory. That would explain that. That would explain that. Then that would if Bill's correct, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, then that would explain that. Over the last year, the
trying to
USDA
monopolize the food supply for some bizarre reason.
Weird. Over the last year, the USDA says nearly 58 million birds have been infected in the U.S., making it the deadliest outbreak in U.S. history. Then why do you get rid of? Yeah, that's why you've gotten rid of small farms and only put them in factory farms, where you make sure that every chicken is way more likely to get infected. Very, very interesting. Unfortunately, the infected birds have to be killed, causing the egg supplies to fall and prices to surge. In some cases, stores are running out and limiting the amount people can buy.
Price
we bought
controls.
eggs. We bought eggs earlier this week at Fry's and Levine's. We paid $8.99 for a dozen eggs.
That's insane.
Unfucking believable. So if
But
you
don't
ask
worry,
the
this is all totally
agriculture-
normal.
Well, totally normal. If you ask the agriculture department, for example, or anyone in the Biden ad, to the extent they're paying attention, which is not much, they'll tell you that egg prices are high because of the avian flu. That's a completely natural virus, just like COVID. The prices have nothing to do with chicken farms burning down. Again, not that anyone in the government tracks that kind of thing. Why would they? Because nothing like that could ever happen. Settle down, QAnon. A lot of people, particularly the national news media, people who could not identify a chicken if it didn't come with dipping sauce, are satisfied with that explanation. I love Tucker. But we noticed that some farmers who deal with chickens every day are not convinced. Some of them, some farmers, have noticed something odd. Their chickens aren't laying eggs, or as many eggs. And these chickens don't appear sick with avian flu. They're not dying, they're still alive, they're just not producing eggs. Now healthy hens on a regular basis lay eggs on a regular basis every 24 to 26 hours. But suddenly, chicken owners all over the country, not all of them, but a lot of them, are reporting that they're not getting any eggs, or as many.
That's how often they
So
lay
what's
eggs?
causing that?
What the fuck?
I guess so. I didn't know it was that frequent either. Clearly, something is causing that. Some have concluded their chicken feed may be responsible. Chicken farmer. Is a commercial... Let me just play it. So I forgot that there's videos for all of this.
Rising prices and drought and supply chain issues made 2022 a difficult year for those in the agricultural industry. And our next guest, a fourth-generation farmer, warns that 2023 could be even worse with the food security threats. Tennessee farmer and Turning Point USA ambassador Stephanie Nash joins us now. So good morning, Stephanie. Thank you so much for being here. A food security threat, that sounds pretty scary. Why do you think 2023 is going to be worse than 2022?
Well, you have to look at the overall decrease in family farmers, ranchers around our country. You have to look at the Russia-Ukraine war, how that's going to affect resources here in America. And you also have to look at the Netherlands. I think that's a big deal that people are not talking about enough. You know, they're fighting back against their government because they know the unconstitutional regulations will kill off 3,000 farms in the Netherlands. And then you have to look at
that's a big deal.
We face drought in Texas. We face.
Couldn't ever point that out. Like we talked about that, I think, months ago. The fact that they're just like gonna eviscerate most of the farms in the Netherlands to build a mega city.
Yeah,
it's like Netherlands is one of the major bread baskets of Europe, and they're just like, let's just destroy all the of the whole world. And they're like, let's just get rid of that. Why again?
Why do you think South African farmers are so successful? Where do they come from? Dutch.
Right, yeah. The same people who call for this are people who are complaining about world hunger. And yet they just say, let's just eviscerate all bread baskets. It's absolutely I mean, I don't get it. Look, I do get it.
Yeah, because you do. Why? You will eat the bugs. There's too many people on the planet.
You will eat
Except
the bugs.
you fucks will do this
You
shit
will
while
die
we
of
eat steak and
starvation.
caviar and fuck you cunts.
Right, yeah, we'll
Those
eat
people
steak
need
and
to be
caviar.
called, by the way.
We will eat steak and caviar, and you will starve. That's what it's about.
Increased feed prices. We face more regulations and more housing developments
Because of
against
global
our
warming.
agricultural communities. So that's a big food security threat to our future here in America.
So you're from California. You used to be a farmer in California. You moved to Tennessee because there are fewer regulations in that state for farming. But how is the federal government capable of making this work through, as you mentioned, making it more difficult for America's farmers to produce food that goes into the grocery stores for people to be able to eat?
Well, I think the biggest thing that's happening in our country is there's no new programs. Our world is changing. The way we farm is changing. And the USDA needs to know that there is a lot of weather threats to our family farmers and ranchers. You know, I have friends in Texas that were burning hay to try to keep their crops warm. And where is PETA? Where is politicians? And where is the USDA when we are trying to save our crops and our animals from weather devastation? And they want to tell us how to do our job on the side with regulations. I mean, California, you know, they have tons of regulations with air quality, with water coalitions, just being able to get resources they need. It's like they're pushing us into a corner to go out of business. And that is really a food supply threat to keeping American grown. Foreign countries are coming in and buying up land.
Right.
So the American people really do need to ask themselves, do we want our food grown here in America, or do we want it from other countries?
Yeah, you mentioned foreign countries coming in. Of course, the threat from China,
Zimbabwe.
Chinese companies coming in and buying up farmland. That's something the White House has said is a real estate issue. In terms of the costs for farming, of course, a lot of what people see at the grocery store in terms of inflationary prices is because...
I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard not to laugh right now. But I mean, it's really serious. But I'm looking at the picture that's behind her, and it looks like it says FAR, and so I can't read it as not fart.
You have the mind of a child.
Yes, I do. I know it says something else probably, but it looks like it says fart. I'm sorry, let's continue.
Farming is more expensive. As you know, a lot of it is taking out loans at the beginning of the season, planting the crops, and then paying for the loans on the back end. How have the higher interest rates as a result of government overspending impacted the industry?
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of family farmers and ranchers going out of business next year, unfortunately, because of the loan increase, with taxes, with overall spending, inflation in our country. But the other thing Americans need to realize is, in the beef market, there are 4 main packers, and they made marginal profits last year off beef farmers, and they're still selling off their cattle because of drought and situations, not being able to get feed in certain parts of our country. So if you look at big corp, big government, they are the ones killing off family farmers and ranchers and reaping the benefit of Americans at the grocery store. So that's the truth of what is happening in America, and that's the truth of what will happen if we don't start to wake up and support local.
Well, very true. Another chicken farmer said the commercial feed, the reason people's chickens have not been laying at all is the question I'm asking myself and have seen all over TikTok, Facebook, everywhere, talking about chickens. Tons of people who have no eggs for 6-7 months. It's not normal. I have at least 60 hens that should be laying. I have a flock of roughly 100, and I was getting 2 or 3 eggs in the summer, all summer long. I genuinely think it's the feed, especially after seeing so many people have the same problem switching to a local feed and fixing itself. So why do we put that clip on TV? Because that chicken owner speaks for all chicken owners? Because she's the world's greatest expert on avian questions? Probably not, but because the people who should be keeping track of what's going on are clearly not keeping track of what's going on because they just don't care. Oh, they care. They know exactly what's going on. Also, Dutchman, thank you for becoming a squire. Thank you for joining the channel. And so instead of going to the usual sources at the AG department or calling the White House press office, we decided to listen to people who actually have chickens. And one, for example, the lady you just saw, says she switched her chicken feed and it solved her problem. Her chickens began laying eggs again almost immediately. Now, the specific brand of feed referenced in that video is called Producer's Pride. It's made by Purina. Most chicken feed brands are made by Purina. Purina also makes Producer's Pride. That's the cattle feed recently subject to recall after regulators linked the product to a series of unexplained cattle deaths. It was removed from shelves because there was a good chance you shouldn't be feeding it to livestock. Could that be happening again? Now, we don't know, but we should tell you because, again, no one else seems to be keeping track of this. It's not just Producer's Pride that some chicken owners are worried about. Some have concerns about several other chicken feed brands made by Purina. We reached out to the company today because, again, we're agnostic on this. We figured we'd do a little poking, and they said they're looking into it too. And their feed is not the problem. And that may absolutely be true. We don't know. What we did notice, though, was that the explanation was more than enough for most media companies, trained as they are to accept corporate press releases as the final word on any given topic. Well, they said it's not a problem, so it's not. How insane, by the way, right? And this is the thing that's crazy about this, right? Like, you know, leftist media will take any answer as long as it doesn't in any way upset their ideology.
BPs.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but so many people are fucking vegetarians and they care about animals. They don't care about animals under these circumstances, now do they?
No.
How bizarre. You're talking about thousands
we
of
care
animals.
About the animals.
Millions of animals.
The animals apparently cause global warming. Oh, we can kill them then.
Well, you have to understand too, like, well, if you know this about, what's it called?
Leftist?
PETA. That PETA actually wants to kill animals that, like, you know, domesticated, well, semi-domesticated.
Like methane and kind of shit?
No, animals like chickens and cows and these kinds of animals that have been essentially domesticated. They want to murder all of them because they know that those animals can't live outside of a domesticated environment. And so they think that the best thing to do for the animals is to literally eviscerate their entire species.
Why?
Because that they live in slavery.
I think they're just bloodlust.
PETA? How
Yes.
much have you seen about? Yeah, PETA's obsessed. They're obsessively bloodlustful people. And so, yeah, they actually actively want to murder. Yeah, PETA loves slaughtering dogs. PETA loves slaughtering cats. Any animal that they think they basically can't live outside of servitude, as they call it, needs to be put down according. So, yeah, by farm animals, they want to kill farm animals for
So
that
basically
reason.
animals that just graze.
So like cows and sheep and chicken and pigs, they can't live outside of human care, right? They can't live in a purely natural environment because they require people to take care of, right?
Okay.
So PETA thinks that that's a slavery existence and that it's better for them to be dead.
So instead of existing and having someone take care of them, we should just kill them.
Yes.
Can you imagine if government did that with older
I'm not
people?
joking about. I am not joking about that. That is legitimately PETA's. Yes, and DRT King is correct. PETA also wants to exterminate dogs and cats as well for the same reason. because they can't exist outside of human care.
That's
they think
kind of insane.
That pigs can go feral, but because they think that the most of these animals really can't exist outside of human care, that it's better for them to be murdered. That the entire species should go extinct.
That's not psychotic at all.
I don't know how much you know about PETA people, but they're nuttier than squirrel shit, my dude.
Little bit. I don't think you would. Just...
No, they think it's as Neon Suspender says, they think it's a mercy killing.
That's a mercy killing?
That it's all mercy killing. Yeah, pigs, and cows seem to be able to survive, but they don't. I don't know if the people believe that. They think that, you know, and cats go for all the time as well, but they don't seem to believe that. They seem. I'm just saying. Look, I'm not agreeing with the PETA folk. I'm saying that that's what they believe, right? They believe that all of these animals that have been domesticated need to be wiped out essentially because you know, because they've been too touched by people. They've been too
basically if they become dependent in any particular reason, that's the reason to cull them.
If you don't know how screwed up PETA is, my god, dude, that's a deep ass rabbit hole.
No, I'm just thinking that that is a slippery slope for humans.
Why? Yeah, of course it is.
Like if your justification is just
these people are leftists. They want to put suicide pods in Switzerland.
So basically, right? Futurama's suicide booth.
Have you not seen the suicide booth?
No, I've seen it in Futurama.
Oh, hang on. I think it's Switzerland. It might be in Sweden. I can't remember which one. It's some place in suicide pod. I thought we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but there's a suicide pod thing. The Sarko device. It is in Switzerland. Yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I thought.
Oh, the HQ of the World Economic Forum. Isn't that curious?
Oh, right. Yeah, here it is. Suicide pod plans to launch in Switzerland. Switzerland? Why did I feel like that? Because I'm sick. End-of-life services and legal experts are not convinced it would be 3D printed pod that can help carry out assisted suicide. It said it's confident it could be used in Switzerland as early as next year. There it is.
So you just jump in that thing and you kill yourself?
Yeah. It plays nice music for you and yeah, you kill yourself. It's not currently allowed through by Swiss law, but it's being passed through, it seems, quickly. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Lance for $5 says almost all environmentalist movements are not pro-planet so much as anti-human. Yeah, I talked about this in a video I did a couple months ago where I looked at the evidence on that, and it was human lovers versus tree huggers, and it found that the tree hugger people.
By the way.
Yeah, it's spooky, right?
No, it's just that the idea of someone can be knocked out and put in that thing.
Yeah. Well, they would say they're not going to do that. But real quick, Lance, finish up my response to Lance's super chat here. Is that I covered that in my video that I did last month about like almost 2 months ago now. No, 2 months ago now, because yeah, it took me a long time to get this video done. But most recent one that I put out today, the human lovers versus tree huggers, and they found that the tree hugger people, they do not give a shit about humans at all. They care about moon rocks. They care about like space bacteria more than they care about human lives. And they definitely care more about a tree than they do about human lives. And this is just a seemingly dichotomy of the way that people feel. It's difficult for me to comprehend that, but there's a significant portion of people who feel that way, where they care more about like rocks and trees than they do about people. And
it's because they're sociopathic.
I would say so, but it's like 40% of people.
I don't know how the hell any human can just do that. Like, how the hell do you give more of a shit? I remember watching
Get it?
This really weird thing about Jordan. This was like years ago. He had on this guy, and he said there's this weird phenomenon about people. They think the further life gets away from them, the worse it is. Which is really weird. He said, like, how's your local community? Yeah, okay. How's the city? The city's kind of worse. How's the state? Oh, the state's hell. The country
Yeah.
going to shit. How's the world? We're in fucking hell. So the more you don't know, the worse it gets. Like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
I don't quite get how the hell any human reasons that.
I don't get it either. I really don't get it either. To finish Lance's super chat, he said, PETA would rather your dog be dead than for a human to be happy. Yeah. It's
Which is
Dingo.
psychotic.
Yeah. Hasidius for 5 says Soylent Green is people after all. Very true. And then a Dutchman, thank you for not only joining, but then for 22 euros says, hey, Aiden and Spoon just graduated as a psychologist. Wanted to share the love. Hey, congratulations, man. Love the streams and keep it up. Congratulations. That's awesome.
How do you grade us, by the way? Are we psychologically sane? Because sometimes I feel like we're a bit unhinged.
Only a little bit.
I definitely consider myself far more intelligent than most people. At least emotionally. Because I can hold my own in a conversation without over-talking someone. And Aiden is usually not good at that, and in this stream she's been surprisingly calm.
Oh, I'm sick, but I'm also autistic. Can't.
Yes, but I have noticed there's times where I have to go, Aiden! And you go, sorry.
Yeah, I have
the
tisms. I get excited and I have the tisms and I don't know how to stop.
Yeah, you've been pretty calm so far.
Because I'm sick, but
yeah. Wait till we get to the Pac-Man fucking thing.
Let's do that. I think I have like 1 or 2 more meme.
I think you and I are gonna interrupt each other because there's moments where I like the rage, my fist is getting just hardened.
Okay,
just thinking about it is
pissing me off. Things that I want to cover. I have like 1 or 2 more things that I think we have to cover before we get into Pac-Man. But let's just.
Yes, I'm emotionally intelligent. Robo, shut your face.
we get the idea here though. Like eggs, chickens, it's a problem. Now you have to. Now I have to ask a question. I'll ask you this question. Why do they want us to not have eggs?
Because it's made from an animal.
There's gonna be some reason
protein
for it, right?
It's because eggs are high in amino acids.
Protein.
Yeah.
It's like the best source of protein. Yeah. I think that's why.
Yes, because eggs are actually healthy.
Look, I was gonna get into like the Twitter stuff with Elon. It just to real quickly cover it because I don't really care enough. Is that it looks like if you lock your account on Twitter, that you'll actually get more engagement from people who already follow you, and so as a result, Elon has locked his own Twitter account.
Oh yes, he's made it private.
Elon's got to get his own fucking house in order in other ways outside of that, though, with that Eliza Blue shit. But we talked about that like last week, though.
Yeah, because the I saw a whole bunch of people like when I logged on Twitter earlier today, because I haven't done that in a while, and like the top like 10 people all had the same fucking message, which is that hey, look, apparently if you switch it to private, you get more engagement. Can you just tell me if this is actually true? It's fucking Eric Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, who else was there? Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles. A whole bunch of
everybody,
people.
Yeah,
one of the libertarian lasses. Everyone just like, yeah, and they just
here's
said...
an article on it. But yeah, I didn't really want to really care to go over it.
Elon, do you remember you used to own this fucking platform?
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, and then you decided to stupidly go out and fucking think, hey, look, we need a trust and safety council again. Motherfucker, you own the platform. You're the monarch of Twitter. Stop fucking exercising power to these twats.
I need to simp people like Eliza Blue.
Oh, for God's sakes, that's just cringe.
No, but it's real.
Why do you simp for someone so ugly? She's not even good looking.
I know. I don't know why. Well, he did unfollow her, I think, yesterday. So that's interesting.
I don't know why the hell you would follow her.
Well,
Elon, you have shady taste in women. South Africans are meant to be better at this shit.
I know. She helped develop the new stuff against anti-CP, which is good. I like that. Like they're removing CP from Twitter. That's great. That's excellent.
They didn't need her fucking ass to do that. Elon did that all by himself.
They didn't need her ass to do that.
Yes.
Well, someone who's a.
So why the hell do you need
expert.
this grifting bitch to come and fuck up your platform?
He wants to fuck. You know.
This is why I don't like women, because the second you put women in charge of fucking anything, it goes to shit.
I agree. So
I like that I have a co-host that can say that.
That's true.
My co-host is like, yes, I agree. Make it worse.
Speaking of which, prayer outside abortion clinics in UK will become a criminal offense under new law.
Welcome to Thought Crimes, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to women crime. Yeah, fucking... Well, we watched a video about this a while ago where there was just a woman who was just praying outside of an abortion clinic. Just standing there praying menacingly. Now it's going to become a criminal fucking offense. Criminal fucking offense.
You can just lie and say you weren't doing anything.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're just going to come in... This is... Because fucking UK is a nightmare hellscape. This is the thing, is that, like, this happened a month or two ago, and now they're saying it needs to become a criminal offense for you to stand outside and just pray quietly, that we should be allowed to fucking arrest you. It's insane. A couple more meme... That stuff's just upsetting. To get some more meme news, though, before we get into the David Pack My Ass Man video. This one's interesting.
Twitter feed that many of you have wondered why I have been off the air for a little while. Well, I have been dealing with a little bit of a health scare. On December 20th, I began to feel chest pains, and they waxed and waned over a period of 10 days. I wasn't quite sure what to make of it, but as they continued to get worse, I started to think something was actually wrong. It was December 30th when I finally went to an...
I know. What are you struggling? You're right. Are you having some chest pains?
It's difficult to choke down so much bullshit.
Are you having some chest pains right now?
No, I'm good. I didn't take the stupid thing, so I don't have any chest pains.
I did have chest pains, but unfortunately,
I
guess
pure blooded.
For me, they went away within like 6
see.
hours. Equals MCG for £5 says Aiden with that ooh.
You get your fucking Asian Sims.
I don't know if it's. I mean, it's not as cute as usual considering I'm so congested. Yeah.
Urgent care and was told I had reflux. I didn't really buy it, but I was relieved it was in my heart.
What do you mean you didn't buy it? You're not a medical expert.
I was pretty certain not to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good question. How dare you?
How do you question the science, lady?
How dare you question the science?
Believe the reflux.
What are you, some kind of conspiracy
The next day,
theorist?
on December 30th, I woke up with severe pains both in my chest and in my left shoulder, and it was like a tightening in my chest. When I took deep breaths, that got worse when I was laying flat.
Again,
I knew enough at that moment to understand that it could is the key word here, that I was having a heart attack because it was happening in the left part of my shoulder.
Yeah, I got worried when I had a pain in the right side of my shoulder. I was like, oh my fucking god, I'm having a heart attack. And it was like, oh no, it's just like
that's the left one, yeah.
Yeah, I just needed to. It turned out all I needed to do was just drink some
whiskey
and honey.
It's quite funny because
I remind you, I run 7 miles, 3 to 4.
The word for Gaelic in whiskey in English it translates to water of life.
Yeah.
And as soon as she drinks that, she feels better. I'm like, yes.
I know.
That holds true.
Yeah.
4 times a week, where I did. I do yoga. I don't eat meat. I don't smoke. I drink occasionally. Not right now, though, because my doctor tells me I can't. Aside from probably not getting enough sleep and working too much, I'm a pretty healthy person. But on that day, I was anything but. My husband drove me to the emergency room, and from there, the nightmare that has been my January began. I was diagnosed with pericarditis, inflammation of the lining of my heart, brought on by a virus, a literal common cold.
Who believes that?
Okay. Well, it probably was brought on by something.
Do you think
I also had
maybe
fluid
her immune
around my
system,
heart that had to be drained, or else it could hinder the beating of my heart.
compromised?
I was hospitalized for 4 nights and transferred from
It
the
has nothing to do with the immune system. It has to do with the fact that this is a specific side effect that has now been accepted by the CDC, as far as I know, as far as I know. I mean, they change their shit every fucking goddamn day. But myocarditis and pericarditis are potential side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, her coming out and saying she has been diagnosed with pericarditis and myocarditis, which is what she's going to say here as a letter finish.
Hospital to NYU Langone here in New York City. On January 4th, I was finally discharged after doctors drained the fluid around my heart, and I bounced out of the hospital. I couldn't get out of there fast enough with the hopes I was on the mend. But that was not the end. 3 days later, I was readmitted when I felt a flutter in my heart, like a butterfly. It was inside my chest. They determined I had developed myocarditis, inflammation of the actual heart now, the heart muscle. I remember being shepherded through the emergency room and wondering, is this it? It wasn't, thank God. Instead, I spent 5 more days in the hospital where they ran a battery of tests, adjusted my meds, and made sure nothing else was.
Okay, so here's the thing. This woman, she's what, in like her 30s?
I know from
she's been
Do you see
diagnosed
that
with
giant meme?
Yeah, I scrolled up from it, but okay, this woman's in her 30s.
Oh,
She's
really?
diagnosed with pericarditis and
She looks much
myocarditis.
older.
I'm guessing. I'm saying she's in her 30s. That's broad, right?
Hmm.
She's been diagnosed with pericarditis and myocarditis. Those conditions.
Do you think they may be
You're gonna-
caused by some experimental medication?
No, I'm just saying that if you get diagnosed with those kinds of conditions, your lifespan is like 5 to 10 years.
Really?
This woman's. Yes. This woman's mostly going to fucking die in the next 5 to 10 years. And that's horrifying. Her heart is fucked. Her heart is totally fucked. I mean, I hope she doesn't, but like myocarditis and pericarditis in her 30s?
Yeah.
Viva ain't sorry. Yeah, Viva obviously here ain't sorry. How many COVID shots have you had? When was the last shot you had? Yeah. Like, but it's...
Don't forget
to take mid to late 30s. But like...
Do you remember how all of us were...
That's a death sentence, man.
Yeah. You remember how
That's
all
a
of
death
us
sentence.
were like, we're not going to take that stupid thing because we're not insane. We looked at the stats. We're not in any way danger. You can fuck off. And people just said, oh, what the hell are you crazy conspiracy theorists? And then here we are, like less than a year and a half later. And holy shit, people are like dying left, right, and center. And all of us who didn't take the stupid thing, we're fit and healthy. I wonder why the fuck that is. Is it maybe because my paranoia makes me a genius?
Yes, and also sorry, Journey. I'm not trying to bring down the mood, but like, yo, like, I mean, I just have to be honest about it. If you peri and myocarditis, those are that's a
your blood
it's
and
really gonna shorten your lifespan. Jarnagi for $10 says, Spoon, show Aiden up with your own ooh-woo. Spoon, do an ooh-woo.
No.
Do it.
No.
For $10, come on.
No.
Do it.
I don't cave into peer pressure.
Do ooh-woo.
I am a good boy.
Wow. Jarnagi, so you can't reason with the Dutch.
Wow. And by that she means extort.
Yeah, a reason. Stormeyes 1981 became a squire. Hey, thank you for joining the channel, man.
Thank you.
But
I hope you enjoy your time.
That's fucked. I hope that woman's okay, but like, ooh, woo, that's not... Ooh, woo, there you go. It's not great.
What was the noise I was supposed to make?
Ooh, woo.
What does that mean?
Ooh, woo?
Oh, that? Fuck no.
Yeah. You can say ooh woo the way I just said it there. I'm gonna do a quick look. Alright, I have some cringe here. This is
Oh god.
sick.
Cheers that I normally do. I mean,
Listen to this.
I know there's a little bit here.
What the fuck is that thing?
I know there's little babies here. It's a trans drag queen or whatever.
I don't know what the hell that thing is.
Well, it's a man in latex with a full-on beard in high heels. He says, I don't usually do this. I know there's little babies here. This is at an all ages drag event, right? There's little babies here. Listen to what he has to say.
I'm looking at the chat right now. The chat is deliberately trying to piss me off.
Deal with it.
Chat Spoon 2023. Fuck no. Like, yeah, that is me in a nutshell. I don't like being told what to do. I vehemently disagree. Yes, the libertarian does not like being told what to fucking do. Yes. Base libertarians, fuck off.
There's little babies here, but
little babies.
Close your ears.
Listen to this, though. Listen to this.
This is just a tradition that all shows normally do. So raise your glasses. Cheers to you. Cheers to me. Cheers to the ones that lick us where we pee. Yeah.
Cheers to you. Cheers to me. Cheers to the ones who lick us where we pee.
By the way, just out of curiosity, well, not out of curiosity, I know I say that I dislike women, but at this point in time, I think I hate men even more.
I mean, look at this shit. Like...
That is a guy, and you are never going to get me
These
to
are
call that anything
demons.
other than a fucking man. Like, I will never buy into this pronoun shit. I'm not gonna address you as a female. You can fuck off. You're a dude. And male, female, anything else, you can fuck off.
I mean,
I will never buy into this. I will never buy into this pronoun gig.
Look at these little kids. Look at this little kid right here. Little kids handing money to the stripper. The male. Look at this little kid right there. Oh.
It's from hell.
All right. So one more thing.
You know,
which is the Whoopi Goldberg story.
you know how there's like a certain group of people that throw these people off the rooftops.
You know.
Yeah.
You ever get the feeling they may have the right idea?
No, I don't violence, but these people
Really?
are disgusting, and they need to be.
Okay, maybe not a roof, how about an elevator?
They need to be. They need to not be around children at all. Like, it's gross. It needs to not happen. It's sick. So here, okay. Should I start with the story first? I guess so. Just cover this real quick because everyone's.
Oh, this was funny.
So here's the issue: is that Black Memphis police sparked dialogue on systematic racism in the U.S. I know this is a Washington Post article, so they're the most biased they can possibly be.
Give them a rope, Jesus.
God,
the fucking chat's worse than I am.
5 Memphis police officers charged with beating her son to death are also Black, has compounded her sorrow as she tries to cope with the violent death at age 29. Says mother Tyre Nichols. Makes it even harder to swallow, Ro Von Wells said in an interview last week, because they are Black and they know what we have to go through. So if you guys are somehow missed this story,
the view made everyone retarded.
Yeah, got beaten to death by 5 Black police officers, and it's being called white supremacy.
I think the first one who said this was white supremacy was Van Jones on CNN.
Yeah, almost assuredly, yeah.
Yeah, because when I first heard this story, I just went, "Oh my god, they're somehow going to blame white people. I don't know how, but it's going to happen." Kind of tongue in cheek, thinking because there's no fucking way in hell that'll happen. Yep. And then slowly I started to see it. I'm like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
Yeah, well, here it is.
You jackasses! There's the chief of police.
Yeah.
In Memphis is Black as well.
Yeah.
Do you know about her?
Oh yeah, she's like a crazy person, isn't she?
In 2008, okay, she was kicked off the force because she was apparently.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, 2 of the detectives in her department. She told them not to investigate the husband of a fellow officer, and then later on, that particular husband was indicted on by grand jury on one count of CP.
Mm-hmm.
So
on CP, on fucking CP.
Yeah, of course. So it's almost like there's a pattern with these people over and over again. Oh my goodness! Just you see, my t-shirt might have a point.
Listen to this fucking stupid article though as well. The widely viewed videos of Nichols beating provided fodder for right-wing media ecosystems that routinely blame Black America's maladies on Black America. Yeah.
Because it is. I mean...
Just because it is. And spawned nuanced conversations among Black activists on how systemic racism can manifest in the actions of non-white people. So even if a Black person is killed by 5 other Black people, it's white supremacy. There it is. The Memphis Police Department.
You've seen the one that was in my video, by the way.
Yeah. Which has nearly 2,000 officers, is 58% Black, as a result of decades-long efforts to field a police force that resembles the city's 64% Black population. So you got what you wanted. Unlike in several recent high-profile police brutality cases, Memphis Police Chief Carolyn Davis, who is Black, and other officers acted swiftly in firing, arresting, and charging. I actually don't think they're totally fired. I think they're on leave, aren't they?
Yeah, 2 of them are, I think. Yeah. Because there was actually 7 officers there.
Right. Yeah. So some of them are on leave.
One of them was white, because there's two instances. There's the first one where he gets away, and then there's the second one where he's beaten to death. And the first one does feature a white police officer, but he's not involved in the beating. So people were saying that, why is it that this white police officer gets off? Because he wasn't there kicking the shit out of the guy, you fucking idiots. It's nothing to do with being white. It's that he wasn't complicit in the beating, you morons.
Dude, oh my god, I went ahead and read through this article a little bit. I have to go use the bathroom real quick. Read this shit. Starting with diversifying law enforcement. I'll be right back. Wait till you get to this less academic part. It's so funny. I'll be right back. Hang on.
Yes, diversifying the law enforcement, otherwise known as quality deterioration. Because it's fun. Do you want to know how awesome white people are? Every time you bring in people that are not white, the quality seems to go down. Like, it's almost like your hiring practices might tell you that white people are actually superior. I'm just saying, before people like shriek at me for saying that, it's just an observation. Like, don't kill me, don't shoot the messenger. But it's just that every single time you see someone that isn't fucking white in certain places, oh yes, because they weren't hired because of quality, they were hired because they were, not white. And then after a while, like, really, why is it that everyone that isn't hired, that's hired that isn't white are shit? Like, how to make white supremacy a thing? Just do diversity. Oh, let's see. Diversifying law enforcement is certainly not going to solve this problem. Yeah, no fucking shit. Said Samuel, a name I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce. President of Mapping Police Violence. MPV. He pointed to many factors. Fuck, I can't see this fucking thing. He pointed to many factors in the police system that led to a disproportionate response against people of color because they were committing more fucking crime. Jesus Christ. The directors do work in neighborhoods where more people of color, I'm assuming Aiden's back because the mouse is moving, more people of color live in a system that relies on discretion of the police officers to enforce things like traffic stops, opening the door for internal biases to play a role. Do you know what's the internal bias? Can I be honest? The internal bias, okay, is that blacks commit more crime. Any person who's in the police force, when they see somebody black, is going to be more apprehensive because they're black. And your chances, and your risk of dying from an altercation when someone's black is significantly fucking higher. That's why.
It's not racism. It's not racism. It's actually just basic psychological.
Yeah.
The fact that if
it's an inbuilt prejudice to survive.
It's cognitive heuristic. It's a basic part of human psychology. Is that, like, if you go to work every single day and 95% of the people who you arrest because they've committed a crime are black, then you're going to be more aware of black people. And is that fair? Not entirely. No, it's not fair. But it's also the way that psychology works, and it's how policing is inherently going to work. So instead, what you need to find a way to fix is to, reduce the criminality in the black community instead of getting angry at police officers for recognizing patterns.
Yep. Because here's the thing. Because I said this in my video. If the media, because the media is doing this, and it's actually quite funny because this is how it backfires.
Did you say racist stuff when I was in the bathroom? Watery said that you did. Did you say racist stuff?
Do you believe the chat?
Not entirely.
Yeah, there we go. See, look, see, chat. You're never going to turn this one against me.
I mean, you might have said racist stuff.
You can look back at the recording and see if you can find it. I said the N-word repeatedly.
Yeah, you just said nothing but straight N-words.
Yeah, there we go.
Read this next freaking line.
Okay. No, but here's what I want to say. Is that if the media only shows repeatedly black people with the police officers and they never show any whites, well, everyone knows, A, they're trying to push the racial narrative because they're trying to stir racial animus. And, the racial animus doesn't... the whites being beaten by police officers, no one gives a shit, right? Because it doesn't.
No.
We're not gonna, flip cars. We're not gonna set cities on fire. It's almost like
no. And in fact, when it does happen, the couple times it does happen, you'll find these black activists on Twitter, and they're celebrating. They're actively being like, "Oh, it's so great to see white people getting beaten and stuff like that." Like, it's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's obvious that there's racial hatred, and I think that I don't think that's without evidence.
Yeah.
I think the vast majority of evidence shows it that the majority of racial hatred in the United States, at least, is black on white rather than white on black.
But here's the other thing as well, is if you have this narrative, we're constantly showing the police brutality against this particular demographic, you know what's going to happen after a while? A whole bunch of people are going to see that and go, why is it only this demographic who constantly has a problem with authority? And then other demographics are going to think, we don't have that problem because we don't behave in this way. So as long as we don't behave in this kind of way, we won't have a fucking problem with the police. That's why.
It's not just, and it's also just not like black on white. It's black on Asian. That was a huge thing, remember?
Oh yeah, the guy on Project Veritas mentioned that, and he was like,
there was a huge rise in anti-Asian hate crimes, and then
same against Jews.
And the news against Jews, and the news reported on it until they looked into the demographics of who was committing the crimes, and it was largely African Americans, and they went, oh, no, we can't report on that anymore.
Yeah. Minority against minority, we can't say shit now.
Well, I mean, the black on Asian thing was a huge deal, because they didn't want to report on that at all.
But you know what's the other thing as well? Is that, if you don't care about this fucking problem, you don't care about blacks either. Because who is the biggest victims of black criminals?
Other blacks.
Yep.
And that's what actually has always, like, you know. Again, I grew up in Baltimore City. Like, I saw this shit my entire life growing up, and to just pretend like it's all white people's problem and white people's fault. It doesn't help the black community whatsoever. It does not help them to try and displace blame and say that there's nothing within their own community and that is responsible for this. And by the way, I think a lot of it's the U.S. government's fault for doing things like completely disincentivizing black families from staying together, like the welfare state. I think that's absolutely part of it.
Yeah, and who made that again? Oh yeah, it was a white guy.
Yeah, well.
There's a white man by the name of LBJ who went around threatening to beat people with his gigantic Johnson.
Yeah, he literally did go around threatening to beat people with his dick, if you're not familiar with that little aspect of Lyndon B. Johnson.
There's actually clips of him talking about his penis.
There's clips of him talking about his penis where he's getting fitted for pants and talking
about
how his dick is too big to fit in normal. What a weirdo.
I mean, Trump has said similar shit, so I can't really blame LBJ.
Yeah, but LBJ was...
Yeah, but Trump didn't say he's going to beat people with it. That's the difference.
Yeah, but and LBJ also completely destroyed. Well, he just furthered in the destruction of the American democracy.
Yeah. I'll have these voting Democrat for the next 200 years. He said, like
200 years. It's worked out for him so far. Would you continue with the article though?
Yep.
Whenever you feel like it.
It's the, it looked like, Tucker Carlson guest Jason Whitlock, a conservative sports culture blogger who is black, blamed young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Contentious, but he's not wrong.
The culture doesn't encourage them to treat each other in a humane way. I mean, like, listen, I know that this is like a conservative, like, it's like, wow, what a prudish conservative talking point, but listen to rap music. I listen to rap music, so I'm allowed to say that. Rap music is all like really like gangster rap music is all about like let's go kill each other, you know, and it's a whole part of the like hood culture, which does exist. I don't think it doesn't exist. I grew up in it, man. Like I didn't grow up in it, but adjacent to it. I saw it all around me, you know. I don't think it doesn't fucking exist.
You've read Thomas Sowell's Black Rednecks and White Liberals, right?
Of course I have.
Yes.
Of course.
So this that you're describing in the rap music, that's basically black redneck culture.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's extremely violent. It's extremely predatory amongst each other.
It's honor based.
It largely is, in my opinion, the lack of the father figure.
Yeah.
Which is encouraged by the U.S. government. Yeah. The state encourages that.
But it's really weird that if you read Black Rednecks and White Liberals and you see like the old chaotic marauding regions of parts of Scotland and England, and then you see that kind of dynamic, like what is the sort of head honcho in this chaotic environment, and it's like 3 centuries ago, and then you look at urban blacks and you're like, holy shit, it's the exact same dynamic.
Yes, Yes, it's
fucking
as,
weird. So you're
Dinesh D'Souza calls it. It's the modern plantation.
Yes, and it's
more black people need to recognize that the U.S. government's not their friend. It is actively seeking to utilize and profit off of them in a way that is completely antithetical to their own community and their own welfare and well-being.
But the reason I find it so fucked up is that once you read the book and you realize how similar it is, you go, holy crap, these people are basically stuck out of time for like 2.5 centuries.
Yeah.
And that's fucking weird. That fucking fucked me up. Like, holy shit, this is legit how these people still behave. They're basically like, they're people that didn't get a software update.
Yeah. No one ever... Yeah, Kiss It for £5 says, no one ever wants to address the 93% question, but they wanted the 2.5% question. Talk about elephant in the room, everybody. Oof. Yeah, true. Oof. Where else were we? We can go through the rest of this article. I don't think it's really worth going through, though. We get the point of it, right?
I thought it was funny as hell, though.
I don't think it's funny.
No. To see the media's reaction is funny. I'm not saying the situation is funny. But the media's reaction, this is somehow white people's fault. It's like, you got out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, that's literally what they've said. Yeah, is that... Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, there was a stupid woman on Sky News in England, because for some reason Britain was fucking talking about this. And she just said, oh, look, the police is a system of white supremacy. I'm like, first of all, you stupid bitch. How is it that everyone involved in this fucking thing is black, even down to the fucking police chief? Okay, so if it's a system of white supremacy, why in the fucking hell is it full of non-whites?
Everyone in this, the police chief is black.
Yes.
All the police officers that killed this guy are black.
Yeah, that doesn't make any fucking sense, number one. And number two, and I said this in my video, you ever taken a look at places in Africa, for example, where there's not a single white soul in fucking sight, and they have masses of, a massive amount of corruption and fucking violence of utterly chaotic proportion. Why in the fucking hell do you think that is?
Actually, so this article is worth reading the rest of. This is so insane. Continue, sorry. This article that I still have up here.
Oh, so as more footage of...
Wait, hang on. Tucker Carlson tonight guest Jason Whitlock, a conservative sports culture blogger who is black, blamed young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way as muted footage of the Memphis officers beating Nichols played side by side. It looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman, that being the police chief. Whitlock said, referring to Davis, the Memphis police chief, who is married. I don't know why you mentioned that. Focus on the individual officers in the aftermath of police killing and not the institution the officers belong to perpetuates the belief that policing's problems are the result of a few bad apples, a narrative embraced by police, said Janelle Austin, who runs the George Floyd Memorial in Minnesota.
Yeah,
this is what of course. I remember under George Floyd, it was that the police are all racist. Now it's that because he's a white guy. But now it wasn't because black people are also racist. Now it's also that black people are racist because they have institutionalized racism against themselves.
What the fuck?
I mean, like, this is
bizarre.
This is insane. World. Yeah. This is what I fear. What's going to happen in Memphis is what happened to Minneapolis. Is that when Derek Chauvin and the other 3 officers were charged, the narrative turned from an issue of police department to an individual issue, Austin said. That was a PR strategy.
Which?
No. You changed... No, the entire prosecution of Derek Chauvin was not an individual issue. It was a
PR gig.
Systematic issue. That Derek Chauvin is indicative of systematic racism. What we've been screaming from the top of our lungs for years is the system and culture of policing trains people's minds regardless of color of their skin to behave in a certain way, she said. Systematic racism can be more difficult for the general public to grasp. In other words, if you look at this and you think, this isn't racist, inherent, then you're stupid.
Which is completely insane.
Yeah. Then explicitly visible white on black crimes, said Craig Futterman, a clinical professor at the University of Law at the University of Chicago Law School who studies police and civil rights. We like to think in the binary, the good guys and the bad guys, he said. So in other words, white people and black people, right? That's what he's saying.
When you hear the phrase binary, you should just tune out.
Did you fucking see this? We like to think in the binary, good guys and bad guys. What he means by that is good guys bad guy, white people. Right? That's what he means there. The binary.
Oh, I have a different binary.
It's far easier to consume the story in an uncomplicated way, seeing a white officer shoot 14 shots at a young black boy laying on the ground, referencing Laquan McDonald. Yeah, right?
Okay.
So in other words, like, white people bad, black people good. That's easy to think about for him, right? The lack of centralization between local, state, and federal police agencies, along with failures of congressional action, has not resulted in widespread changes. More than 2 weeks after Nichols was killed, after being pulled over for what police said was reckless driving, I assume it was reckless driving, Ayanna Robinson drove 6.5 hours from Indianapolis to Memphis to join demonstrations she thought would include thousands of protesters angered by this recorded beating by officers. She tried to find dozens, not thousands, of protesters, and they seemed calm. Yeah, because he was killed by other black people. That's why. Like, it doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah. And you also look kind of insane to protest white supremacy when everyone involved is black. You look kind of nuts.
Robin said one of the major reasons she thought many people seemed more subdued in response to Nichols' death was that the 5 officers charged and beating him were black. If the officers had been white, all hell would have broken loose. The city would have been in war. Yeah, which is what you wanted, wasn't it? You're upset. You wanted the city to be on fire. Nikki Owens felt a similar frustration. Right, a similar frustration in the aftermath of the death of her cousin, William Green, who was shot to death while handcuffed by a black officer in Prince George's County, I know where that is, in Maryland, in January of 2020. In America, we're taught that racism is black and white, said Owen, who now works with the Maryland Coalition for Justice and Police Accountability. Right? And we're not taught about institutional or systemic racism, even though we see it everywhere. We are taught that if a black person kills another black person, it can't be racist. It's black on black crime.
If I hear the phrase systemic racism one more time,
incomprehensible.
I'm gonna fucking snap someone's
isn't
neck.
it? This cope is insane, right?
Have you seen the news reactions to Aiden? People said this is white people's fault. It's like,
I know.
Fucking nuts.
I know. Oh, I missed a couple of super chats. Let me get quick. A binary server for £5 says, calling it now, there will be, quote, oh, there's no fish, meat, or eggs. That's a shame. Here's some tasty bugs, peasant. That's, this level of incompetence equals malice. Yeah, going back to the story we talked about earlier, that is exactly what they're doing. Kizza for £5 says, evening and all, burning the midnight oil, the cure for crime is strong traditional families, getting rid of Marxism, hashtag change my mind. Not intending to change your mind on that one. Kizza for another £5 says, anyone who's black who votes Democrats deserve to be wrapped in chains, work like animals, and definitely change my mind. No, I don't agree with that one, but they are imprisoning themselves, people who absolutely overtly and directly hate them, and say it pretty much without any kind of obfuscation. Yeah. Gary Thomas for $5 says, if you want to see more what happened in Memphis, go on a ride along with any cop in Africa. We can check about that. No, didn't think so. Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff. Man, that's rough.
You do a ride along with a police officer in Africa, they may rob you.
Right, yeah.
I mean, the police officer might rob you, by the way.
I know. Owen said that the attitude contributed to her struggles to inspire activism among area residents, and then getting national and local media coverage of her cousin's killing. There was an outrage, he said. Even when George Floyd passed away, nobody reached out to that. Yeah, because he was killed by another black guy. It doesn't fit your racism narrative. That's it.
Because it was never about police brutality.
No, which police brutality is a real issue, but you want to make it racist, and this doesn't fit your racism narrative, so you're pissed. Owen said she felt as if the world viewed her cousin's death as somehow different than other police killings. You guys made it that way, by the way.
Yeah, that's kind of your fault.
This is a reaction of your own narrative being screwed up. You said that it's only police brutality when it's white on black, and so nobody cared when your cousin got killed by a black cop. When I was out in the community and I would talk to people, I would see their reaction when I told them the officer was black, she said. And some people would ask what color the officer was, which is another indication of lack of understanding. No, you guys made it this way.
Yeah.
You guys made it this way. You just, sleep in the bed you made. I'm anti-police brutality.
Yeah. If you have to ask what is the name, what is the color of the cop, that tells you you're not really interested in the brutality bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stu and I had an argument about my position on police the other day in private.
Did we?
And remember? Well, not an argument, but we did. We discussed the fact that I don't generally like the police. I'm very suspicious of the police because I've had very bad interactions with the police. Actually, you said that I should ask questions. I should ask the chat.
Yeah.
About my interactions with police. So,
because I said it's your fault.
Okay, so I've had very bad interactions with police in my life. The first time I ever got pulled over by a cop, I was 21 or 22 years old. I was moving out of my undergraduate town to move into my graduate town. And I was driving the car that was leading the truck that my friend was driving. And we were going the speed limit. We were not doing anything at all wrong, and got pulled over. And it was a fat woman who pulled me over. She, as soon as the truck that was following me, because it had, my stuff in it, saw me get pulled over. I'd never been pulled over before in my life. As soon as she saw me get pulled, the guy behind me who was, my friend who was driving the truck, as soon as he pulled in behind me, she took this as some kind of threat. So she pulled her firearm on my friend who was driving the moving truck and pulled her fucking pistol on him, and then scared the shit out of all of us. Now, I'd never been pulled over before in my life, and now I'm having a fucking panic attack because there's a gun in my friend's face and now a gun in my face, and she's demanding she's got a fucking pistol pulled, telling me what is this? What's happening? Why is there what's this other car doing? What's this truck doing? And then I have demands that I get my license and registration out of the glove box, or demands my license and registration, which is fine. I would have understood that. So I unbuckle my seatbelt to get my license and registration out of it. And then she looks at it, and then after 15 minutes of having nothing that she knows that she can, pick on me for, essentially, says that my seatbelt is unbuckled and gives me a $150 fine for the fact that I unbuckled my seatbelt in front of her to get my license and registration. Right? Now, unfucking comprehensible, right? About 3 years later, this is the part that Spoon thinks I deserve, okay? This is the part that Spoon thinks I deserve. 3 years later, I'm driving in Baltimore, and I'm driving around, I'm driving home about 5 minutes from my house. I had to go to the mall for something, or to an area near the mall for something. I can't remember what it was. And I'm driving from my house, and I get pulled over by this, again, a big fat white woman. This is in Baltimore City, where it's that first pullover, by the way, that was in between Cincinnati and Columbus, Ohio. All right, so it's the middle of absolute nowhere in Ohio. Literally made me almost piss my pants. I was so fucking scared after that. This one pulls me over in Towson in Baltimore, and it's the same shit. Immediately pulls her gun on me. For what did she pull me over for? She claimed it was because my headlights weren't on, and it was getting close to dusk. It was still, in my opinion, broad daylight, but my headlights weren't on. And then she said that something about it was because first it was my headlights weren't on, then it was because I had out-of-state plates, because they were West Virginia plates. I was in Maryland. Then it turned out that my insurance was a month expired, which I didn't know, but it was. So this is the part where Spoon says this is deserved. So what she did then was, while having a gun pulled on me, told me she was going to impound my car, and did this while having a fucking gun pulled on me the entire time, forced me to get out of my car, left me on the side of a highway in a horrible part of Baltimore City, on the side of the fucking road. And it was not actually in Towson proper, it was outside of Towson. So it was a really shitty part of Baltimore City. left me on the side of the road. I had like 5% left battery on my phone and impounded my car. But at the time it took me to get my car back, the amount of money it would have cost me to get my car out of impound was about $4,000. So I just had to give up my car and sell it back to the bank because it was too expensive. It would have cost me again, the car being impounded for like a week was $4,000, which is the cost of a new fucking car. So I was just like, I guess I'm just giving the car back to the bank then, because I can't afford to do that right now because I was in grad school. I didn't have any money. So why do you get parts of the story are missing? They're not. This is what fucking happened. But Spoon says I deserved it. So because I didn't have insurance, and that was the way it was. There's no parts of the story missing. It's literally because my insurance wasn't expired. Now Spoon thinks that it's deserved then of me to be left on the side of the road with no capacity to get home by a fat woman who pulled a gun on me, and then I couldn't get my car back and had to sell it. Spoon thinks that's deserved. Would you like to explain yourself?
I said that you could have avoided that by not having the fucking insurance expired. That was it. That was my own defense of that.
A normal interaction with a cop would have been like, oh shit, I didn't know my insurance was expired. Can I go fix that, please? If I'd been pulled over multiple times for having expired insurance, that would be understandable, right? It was, but that's not what happened. It was, I didn't know my insurance was expired. I really didn't. So, and I think a normal reaction from a cop would be like, hey, yeah, you get a warning. I didn't get a warning. She impounded my car and left me on the side of the road after pulling a gun on me in the middle of the street. So, and both times there was a big fat white woman. How expired? By a month. So it wasn't like it was expired for like 6 years or some shit. It was literally just then
If I did this and my parents found out, the first thing they would ask me is, why the fuck were you driving without insurance? You're an idiot.
So I didn't know my insurance was expired.
You should know that. And you know you should. If this is a thing you need to do to get on the fucking road, then you should know.
No,
when
again,
your fucking
and
license
also, of course, yeah, it's in Baltimore City, the murder capital of the world. But yeah,
expect takes on vehicles from someone who part Dutch, a cyclist sort of nationality.
Did you hear that?
Yes, and Bill seems to be extremely angry.
All right. Okay. No, he called you a cyclist. All right. So I'm going to. I'll post the poll. I'll post a poll. So, did I deserve to lose my car?
No, I don't think you deserve to lose your car. But my thing is,
I did.
No. But my thing is there any way that you could have prevented that?
No, I mean that was what happened.
The answer is that you could have not had your insurance expired, and you probably would have had it after this.
I mean, again, the impound lot after a week was $4,000. The cost of the car itself was $8,000.
I want to say mean shit to Bill right now, but
Oh, I'm just asking you. Like the cost of the car itself was $8,000 I had left to pay on it. It was like 8,000. I was it was 12 altogether. I had like 8,000. Well, actually, yes. I mean, I had like 4,000. I had like 6,000 left to pay for, something like that. But it was basically the cost of the car.
Be a very different argument. It's like, oh, I see there, Mr. Dutchman. Both your shipping license is out of date. We'll have to impound these slaves.
In terms of why was it there for a week? Because I had to be able to get money together, and I had to be able to get someone to drive me out to the lot to get it, because it was like out in the middle of nowhere where they took this car to, and I need to get someone to take me out there. And then also, why did she pull me over? Well, she gave me several different reasons. Originally, it was because it was like it was in the winter and it was like 4 p.m. so it was getting slightly dusky and I didn't have my lights on. And then she said it was because of my out-of-state plates being suspicious. And then it was then after she checked it, it was because of the insurance. So, you know, yeah. Minnesota Fats for 5 says, "Hey boss, didn't Luke Rudkowski say that modern police only just to generate revenue for the state? So he got it right. Yep, that's actually completely true. The police all run on quotas, so they just will like find things to pull you over for. They don't actually need a reason at all. Not a real reason. They'll make one up.
Because cops are gay.
But you don't think cops are gay. You agree with what the cop did too.
I agree that you should have had your license or your insurance unexpired. I
you
even
agree
answered...
that I should have had my or I should have my car impounded and be left on the street?
No, actually, I said no to the poll.
All right. What should have happened to me in that situation?
Confused.
I'm just asking, what should have happened in that situation?
No, I don't. I think the punishment was excessive, but my thing was
after many violations, there were no. It was the first violation.
You know, if you ask me a question, it'll help if you shut your noise hole till I answer it.
Sorry. Fubar
I know this is like a very emotional thing for you.
Yeah, I'm really pissed off about this because
yes.
it was a huge. It totally fucked up my life.
Yes. Now I can disagree with the excessive punishment. But my thing was, what could you have done to avoid the situation? And the thing is, don't drive without fucking... Your insurance not in order.
Yeah.
Like, two things can be right at the same time.
It wasn't after many violations, Fubar Temp. I didn't have many violations. I had a previous time where a cop pulled me over. I paid off the thing. I'm defensive because I don't like cops. I paid off my tickets for that one. They still fucked me over on that, by the way. And then I paid off that ticket. I just got scared that first. It scared the shit out of me. Because they pulled me over for no reason. And then the second violation was 3 years later over nothing. Same shit. Where then she had to go find a reason to figure out why she pulled me over. And both of them were fat white women. No, I can't keep insurance up now, by the way, because of this bitch, I can't get a driver's license anymore. Is that fair, by the way? Because I can't get a driver's license anymore because of this. Yes.
Why?
Because of that shit that I just told you about.
You can't drive legally in the United States.
No, because of that.
That's fucking dumb.
Are you seeing why this is a problem now?
Okay, yeah, like, that's fucking stupid as shit.
Because this fucking fat bitch did this shit to me. I now can't get a driver's license in the U.S. Like, I did, for having a 1 month expired insurance.
Yeah, that punishment is bollocks.
Are you understanding why I hate the police now? Like, not all police, but like why I have an issue with a lot of cops.
Or maybe just like, by the sounds of it, you just don't like fat white women.
Yes, that too.
I think this
how
is
long? Forever, as far as I can tell. Forever.
I think this is the reason why.
My dad and I went all around trying to fix this. We went to 3 different DMVs. We went to a whole bunch of different police, agencies trying to figure out how to fix this. There is no way to get it repealed. I've been trying to get it fixed for 7 years. There is no way to fix it. It is a permanent. In fact, I have paid something like $5,000. Which I didn't have to pay, to different police departments and DMVs, etc. over the course of the last 7 years to try and get my license reinstated. And then guess what? Here's a really fun thing. For example, I spent $3,000 at one point to the Ohio DMV to help deal with this whole thing because they all fucked around with this shit because I had an Ohio license when I was in Maryland. And then when I called the Ohio DMV back, they said, we have no record of that. I then sent them a bank record from my bank showing how I had paid them $3,000, and they're like, you made that up. My Wells Fargo bank made it up? Look at how fucking broken the system is and wonder why I'm a fucking anarcho-capitalist. Like, these people just made this shit up. They just made it up, and they saw a fucking report from my bank and said, I don't trust it. By the way, also, it took me 6 months to get them on the fucking phone. They wouldn't pick up the fucking phone. The Ohio BMV would not pick up the fucking phone. If you want to prove me wrong, tomorrow, call up the Ohio BMV and see if you can get in touch with them, because you won't be able to. They don't pick up their phone. They just don't. They do not, ever.
Is this why you live in the UK? So
yeah, by the way, including interior calls. including interior calls, because I have a friend who works for the Ohio BMV, and he couldn't get in touch with them over this issue. I have a friend who personally works for the Ohio BMV and couldn't get in touch with them over this issue. Or he works for the state, but he has a personal contact to the BMV, and he couldn't get in contact with it. Yeah, the BMV is just what Ohio calls it. It's like a DMV in any other state. So, just saying, like, if you want to get an idea as to why I don't fucking like the cops, it's because that shit can happen. And what happened to me essentially is, and I was actually told this by somebody, a couple people at this point now, is that my case fell through the crack. And basically I just got shit on, and there's nothing they can do because I've fallen through the cracks. And I've fallen into a thing where there's no amount of money, there's no amount of things I cannot possibly do until, like, they forget about it, essentially, in probably, like, 20 years, who knows.
Basically, bureaucracy is gay.
Yeah, it's bureaucracy is the issue.
Yeah.
Man, it makes me mad. But do you understand now why you get those, Spoon? Why no lawyer?
Bureaucracy and fat women, yes.
I don't know what a lawyer would be able to do
bureaucracy
against
and fat women.
What's a lawyer going to be able to do against the fucking government? You know?
Ask Nick.
Nothing. Like, a lawyer's not going to be able to do anything about this. Well, my best friend is a lawyer, and he basically told me there was nothing he could do. So, like, I don't think there's anything. No, well, at that point, I certainly couldn't have afforded one. But I could have afforded one because literally my best friend, besides Spoon, is a lawyer, and you can't sue the government. Not really. If you think you can sue the government, you can't sue the.
Yeah, lawyer is probably not something that I'm good for.
But it was my dad and I spent basically an entire year working together, trying to figure out how to get this shit taken care of, and we could not. We were going from, you know, DMV to BMV to government agency, and none of them had any records of it at that point. Like 2 years later, you think I'm making this all up? How could I make it up? If I was making it up, I wouldn't be able to be this consistent about it. I think the reality is that people forget that this is something that happens every single fucking day in the United States. Is that I lost my license over some absolute nonsense, and by the way, if you want to look it up, you could look it up. People know my name and my docs. You can find out. You can try to look up. If you look up my name on the Ohio BMV, it will say that I have absolutely 0 violations on my record, and yet my record is suspended. Why do you think that is? It's because they cannot, I'm not joking, they literally can't remember why my license was suspended. I'm not joking. I spoke to them. They said, like, we don't have any record of why your license was suspended, and so we have no idea. And I paid them off. Something like $3,000. Doesn't matter. They fucked with me. I fell through the cracks so bad, and they don't give a shit. I'm also like a damn ass fucking good driver, but I'm not allowed to drive. And then I'm gonna get a driver's license over here in Guernsey because, like, at least I can drive over here. Fuck that shit.
So do you want to watch the Pac-Man thing now?
Yeah, sorry, I'm pissed off about this. Let me read some super chats and let's watch the thing. I'm just really pissed off about that. That one.
I can see that.
I asked you if you wanted to talk about this driver's license.
Actually, I was the one who changed the super chat.
I know, it makes me so angry though.
In fairness, I didn't know that you lost your license.
Yeah, I lost
my license. You didn't tell me that part.
Yeah.
You told me about the car. I didn't know your license.
I lost my license and my car. Yeah, I lost everything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd have been more sympathetic if you lost the license. Because,
everything
again, I didn't know that part.
Because some fat bitch pulled me over and tried to make up a reason why she did. And happened to find a reason, and that's the problem. That's what cops will do. They will they pull you over because they're trying to meet a quota, then they'll find a reason to do what they want to you.
It's basically
how it is, man.
Fat white woman.
Yeah. It's always fat white women, and they're always willing to pull their fucking gun on you, man. Every single goddamn time.
So because they're hungry.
Probably. Okay. Kids for £5 is anyone who's black and read that one. What was that? Oh, right. Okay. Kizza for £5 says, affirmative action is systemic racism against white people, but none of these grifters talk about that. I wonder why. Yeah, curious, right? Kizza for another £5. Thank you, Kizza. Says, I've gotten 7 officers fired directly and indirectly in my lifetime due to abuse of powers. Most of them are power tripping cunts need a slap. Not how it works in the US. Not how it works in the US. I don't think it's how it works in the UK, generally speaking, either. But good for you, man.
You can call them a homophobe.
Gary Thomas for 2 says, sounds like the problem was they were women. I think that's been mostly it. I really do think it is, and I don't mean to be like rude about this, or like I'm not like a very attractive woman, but I'm not fat. And I think that fat women, when they see a thin woman, it like inherently can't help their like anger and rage, so they freak out about it. Just my opinion. Lance for $5 says, imagine the good that could be done in America if Chris Rock's How Not to Get Your Ass Kicked by the Police was a mandatory viewing. Yo, I am so polite to the police and always have been. I've always been like, oh, okay, yes, what would you like? Anything you can do. So I didn't do anything to fight back against these people. I was just like, okay, yes, I'm sure, yes. Okay, like, thank you. Sorry, Rick. You know, like, I just did that shit. Like, well, first of all, I'm extremely nervous and very anxiety ridden. So I didn't do I wasn't being obnoxious. I was just, I mean, like, in the worst part about that woman who pulled me over in Baltimore, right, who left me on the side of the street, which I told you about, Spoon, but I haven't, like, I mean, like, it'd be funny to some people. I was driving home from work, and I was like, oh my god, like, can I please get my laptop and some of my things out of my car? And she was like, no, you can't. And I was like, can I please just take a couple things out so that I can take them out before you drive the car? No, you can't. And like so then I had like the couple things. She said I didn't have any time. I couldn't grab anything I wanted out of my car, including my passport and stuff like that. And so like I was left there on the side of the road, and I swear to God, like while she was waiting for the tow truck to come for my car, she had to wait there. She was laughing directly at me while I'm fucking crying and trying to call my mom to come. I was like, Mom, can you come and pick me up? Because I don't know, like by the way, and I told her this too. I said, oh, I'm sorry I didn't know about the insurance being expired. I'm literally 5 minutes from my house. Can I go home and get my insurance fixed? Because I didn't know that it was expired, which any normal police officer would give you a citation for, and then let you go, and then if they catch you again, then they take your car or whatever. But instead, this was a first citation, has my car towed, and she stands there, and I'm not joking, fucking is laughing at me. Literally laughing. I couldn't believe it. It was it was so nuts. It felt like a complete like fucking fever dream, right?
Basically white people.
Man, dude. What?
Basically white people.
It is what it is. But it was a nightmare. I told her, like, again, I'm literally 5 minutes from my house. You don't think they can tow cars for insurance, Keebler? Well, they sure did. I mean, I mean, they did. Like, that's what happened. I can't. I know people think that this sounds like I'm lying, but it's that. How could I make this up? It's just the thing that happened. I lost my car. I lost my license because I didn't have insurance. I had insurance that was a month behind. I wasn't given any chance to try
Pac-Man.
to fix it. All right, Pac-Man. All right, okay. Real quickly, let's read the rest of these. Lance for $5 says, oh right, and I got that one. Noodle Among Men for 5 says, I say mandatory insurance is wrong. I actually agree with that. How is it okay for the government to require you to buy a product from a private company? I agree. Binary for £5 says, you will have private policing in the US within 10 years. Yep. BLM/Floyd caused a slow-mo collapse, massive retirements, and no fewer 20% plus vaccines most places. Yeah, people are like, private policing is gonna get real fucked. Okay, let's watch the Pac-Man video.
Yeah, because this is great. If you think I was fucking angry, jeez, I want to hear what you think of this shit.
Yeah. All right, let's watch the Pac-Man video. Here we go. You got it up? Let me know.
I do.
All right.
Every dollar you make, what are you comfortable being taxed on, like being taken away?
It depends what I get for that. Can I give an example?
Sure.
Okay. My willingness to be taxed would be greater if, for example, my or my daughter's college education were paid for by those taxes. So in a vacuum, it's really hard to answer that question because it depends what we get.
Okay, so let me continue with these questions.
Please.
So who do you think
By the way, Patrick is giving a masterclass on how to whoop a socialist's monkey ass with capitalism in a fucking iron fist, because he knocks the shit out of Pac-Man. I practically had an erection by the end of this. I was pissed the fuck off.
Did Bastard watch this last night? Okay, fascinating. I didn't watch HB's stream last night, so.
Yeah.
Makes better decision for your daughter, you or the government?
What kinds of decisions?
School.
You see, just questions like that. It's like, are you fucking
Yeah,
kidding me?
yeah.
You know which kind of questions you...
School. What kind, like college?
Let's just say if you pay me, I'm the government, but I'll choose which school she can go to, versus you don't pay me, the government, you take that responsibility and you get to choose to send your daughter to what school she wants to go to.
What do you mean the government chooses?
But I'm giving you...
You see, like that, just can you
He's
just...
being so intentionally, like, this is being
obtuse.
intentionally stupid. Yeah, being intentionally obtuse.
Yes.
How stupid.
Like, this
And
is
that's
just...
how Pac-Man ass man always is, though, is that he and there's so many leftists that they pretend to be retarded. How dumb. I mean, and they're not smart, but they also intentionally pretend to be retarded.
Those options. So meaning the government says these are the schools that will pay the tuition for. Okay.
You're talking college and university?
I'm talking college and university.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. You're talking public school.
I didn't know which direction you were going.
Yeah,
with it.
but go back to when I asked you the question. I asked the question. I said, so what percentage of your dollar are you willing to be taxed on?
Yeah.
Not taxed on, just taxed.
Yeah.
And you said it depends on what happens with what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of what you said. Okay.
Sure.
So do you think?
I mean, is that logical? Do you agree with that, at least in principle?
Do you? Well, I think...
I hate this argument. Like, do you agree with this in principle? Do you agree with my idealistic hypothesis of this is how it should run? It doesn't ever fucking run this way, but for some bizarre reason, I keep going with this hypothetical thing of this is how I am a moral fag and this is how I want to...
Like it to run.
But it doesn't fucking run this way, you dipshit.
Well, that's the whole thing about all of leftist ideology
is emotional.
Like, I know that it doesn't work that way, but what if it did in magical rainbow unicorn land?
This entire conversation is like this, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
well, I haven't seen this. Actually, I haven't seen this.
I think you have a good brain and a good mind to make better decisions on what to do with your money than the government can.
No, but before we go into the specific education, because I'm trying to find points of agreement here, because I actually don't think we're really that far apart on a lot of...
I don't think you ever look for any points of agreement on anything, Pac-Man.
No, you don't.
You are known for being a disingenuous, full of shit fucking weasel, and you fucking built like one.
He literally looks like a weasel, yeah.
Yes.
Are you of the mindset that, just hypothetically, are you okay paying more in taxes if the taxes include fire, police, roads, bridges? Are you generally just
have you ever lent anybody money?
Yes, but you're not answering my question.
But I'm gonna answer too. Okay. This is my way of answering. You have your way of answering. I'm gonna answer the way I'm answering. So, have you ever lent the same person? Have you ever lent money to somebody a good amount and they never paid you back?
Fortunately, not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
I feel the same way you do about giving money to the government because they haven't had a good track record of doing right things with my money.
No, it sounds like you're saying the opposite. I'm saying I have not had an experience.
Well, but you're wiser.
Yeah, because you just said you've never
You've
done
never had
it.
the experience. You fucking idiot, Pac.
Because you've never lent money to anyone, so you've never had a bad experience. What, just...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You see why I wanted you to watch this?
Oh my god. It immediately breaks my... I've never had an experience loaning money to anyone. Oh, that's why... Spoon, help me.
Yeah.
How the fuck is he this stupid? good.
We're 2 minutes in, by the way. This is gonna get worse.
Christ.
Are you
Christ
good?
preserve me. Yeah, I'm fine, but I can't believe he would say that. Well, of course I can't, because David packed my ass, man.
Yeah.
Good for you that you haven't had that experience, because it sucks. But here's the part. Have you ever lent your car to somebody and it didn't work out for you?
No.
Never happened to you?
No. I have leases and I just tell them, listen, I'm the only person who can drive. I don't even know if that's true. I just say, my insurance
Have you ever allowed somebody to borrow anything from you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay, give me an idea. Something, anything.
Something like that they broke or something like
Whatever
that?
you lend somebody.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. And people don't really ask me for stuff very often. Like,
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the thing. Like, this is the thing. Left. I think, like, hashtag not all, I guess. But leftists are also
most.
fucking selfish. They're so selfish. You can't even think of a single instance when he's lent somebody something.
Can you imagine collective ownership with these people's mindsets? Like, it would be fucking chaos. They would kill each other
Think of
so fucking quick.
You can't think of a single example where you've lent somebody something or anything.
Vibrator.
I mean, this. I don't know, Spoon. Do you find this incomprehensible? Because, like, I'm trying to think of how many instances in which I have lent people something. By the way, many of them have not turned out well. But I've lent people shit my entire life. He can't think of one example where he's lent some, not like a video game, even. You can't think of one example. Oh, because you're a complete selfish dick. That's why you're a cunt. I get it. Right.
This is a really great screenshot, actually.
Got it.
Serious question, man. Like, the world is relying on you giving the right answer.
what have I mean, maybe when I was like 14, I lent somebody a Discman and they did.
Are you a video game guy? Are you a gamer?
Not really.
So what do you do for fun?
Bike, read, travel.
You ever lent a bike to somebody?
God, no.
So you may not be.
No, I've lent a bike. No, I've lent a bike.
Okay,
Yeah, I've lent my bike.
so have you ever lent a bike to somebody?
Yes.
And they jacked it up?
No.
You've never had that happen?
No.
Then you're living in a freaking utopia. That's why you don't understand economy yet, maybe.
I have undergraduate and graduate
I know,
degrees
but
in
that part,
economics.
but that's concerning as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
that probably means I know less.
Can I tell my fucking... Yeah. Can I tell like my terrible story about this?
Which is?
Okay. Which is that, like, when I was an undergrad, a friend of mine said, like, hey, you can store my shit. Like, you can like, lend me your shit for a summer. And when you come back, you can get it. Now, he told me a certain story about what happened to the stuff after a year or after 3 months. And he said, you can leave your stuff in my grandmother's house for 3 months while we're away. When I came back to school, he said, oh, hey, my grandmother died and we threw away everything. Now, he didn't obviously do that. Most likely he sold all of it or kept it. It included an original copy of Earthbound and an original copy of the Earthbound guide, which alone can be worth like a huge amount of money. It was my original NES and SNES.
All of, yeah,
it was like all my N64, all my original copies of things like Banjo-Kazooie, all my N64, SNES, and NES games. And he just said, like, whoops. They all just got... But he said that they all got destroyed because his grandmother's house then got condemned.
But again, is that not technically theft?
In 3 months. I know. Like, this is just crazy. But, like, whatever, man.
Yes, in your mind,
well,
right?
no, not necessarily. That just means you program.
Like
it's a different story to think in one way, because that
I disagree with you.
But that part is true. A lot of it with current education.
I was programmed and then deprogrammed.
Well, when you got
deprogrammed by who?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Who the fuck did your deprogramming? Because you talk like every fucking college leftist git, Pac-Man.
Yeah,
who the fucking hell did your
deprogramming
exactly?
Well, I think by deprogramming he means being more left. Because his college programming was probably too centered for him. He needed to become deprogrammed, far more leftist, right?
Which doesn't make any fucking sense, but then it's Pac-Man.
13-1, that's a true monopoly of professors on the left to the right. That's a pure monopoly. But let me go back to the question, what I'm asking. You asked me the question, are you comfortable, as long as what they do with the money?
That wasn't my question.
What was your question?
My question was, as a general principle,
Yeah.
are you okay paying a little more if you get more?
That's literally the same fucking thing, Pac-Man. You dumbass.
Yeah.
You just worded it differently, but that's the exact same fucking
Yes.
question.
Pay a little more if you get a little more, but that's not how that actually works that's not how it actually works in practice, by the way. The government takes money. It doesn't give you more, though. They just charge you more and charge you more and charge you more to
Yes,
give you less
while
and
the
less and less.
services
How it
get
works
shit.
in practice. And they get shittier and shittier.
Yeah.
It's, by the way, look, I know people were like, oh, we have to protect the NHS. The NHS, and the NHS is probably better than a lot of European health systems in some ways, because like the wait list on these systems is so. Look at Canada. Look at Canada specifically. The wait list to get health treatment in Canada, which is they've got free healthcare, but a whole bunch of people die waiting for healthcare. So which one would you rather have? I mean, I don't know which one's better. The American health system is also predatory. Let's not lie about that. It's completely predatory and money grubbing and awful. But at least you can get healthcare.
The fucking Bill say?
Bill said, "What's the one thing?" Bill said, "What's the one thing in common?"
Fat people?
I think he was going to say something a little bit dangerous. So.
Oh. Anyway.
Which I don't agree with. But continue.
Same question. In my eyes, it's the same thing. Here's why the answer is no.
Oh.
Okay. The reason why the answer is no, I love your sarcasm. The reason why the answer is no is because if I give somebody, a relative, $1,000,
okay,
it's the last $1,000 you're going to give me. I'm telling you, bro, I'm going to pay you back $1,500 in 2 years.
Yep.
Never get it back.
Okay.
2 years later, you come back to me. Hey, this time give me $5,000, but I promise you, I'm going to give it back 10 grand.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Here you go. 2 years later, he comes back up. Dude, this time I'm asking for 10, but I'm changed.
Right.
Completely
I'm
correct.
good, bro. Trust me.
Yes.
Give me the money. Yeah. I'm going to fix it. If you give it the third time.
This is like a drug person trying to get to rehab.
He's completely accurately describing the way that taxation works. Is that it's like, just give us a little bit more money.
Or just a bad lender,
more,
actually.
More and more.
Or a bad borrower, sorry.
I swear that will make things better for you, but nothing gets better. Because of course it doesn't. Because where does all this money go? Vast majority doesn't go into even helpful social programs, right?
Yep.
It goes into the pockets of politicians.
Yep.
Now, I understand where socialists are coming from when they say that they want this stuff to go into social programs, but the reality is that governments inherently will pay themselves before they pay you.
Yeah.
That's the reality. People don't want to help the poor. Of course they don't. They want to take your money and pay themselves. That's the reality of it. It doesn't matter what situation, it doesn't matter what system it's in, by the way. In communism, it was the same way. Under socialist systems, it's the same way. They pay themselves fucking first.
Yeah, bureaucracy, paycheck.
You're an idiot in my eyes. We keep giving money to people with zero accountability, and we just keep saying, here, go spend this money.
What money are you talking about?
$1.9 trillion.
But money for what programs?
Any programs.
Any program.
Seriously, $1.9 trillion spending, and your first question is, what programs? Really, fucking Pac-Man?
Which ones? All of them, David.
You
all of them,
stupid
David.
asshole.
Well, no, he's being pedantic. He's being pedantic. He just wants Patrick to give him a specific thing because he's trying to get him on a gotcha. But the reality is that it's all of them. Okay, how about this? The American people are charged an enormous amount of money. Why don't we have a universal health care system under the amount of money that the American people are being taxed? Because it wouldn't be profitable to the fucking the medical industry. I mean, it would still be profitable. Trust me, it is in Europe. Very profitable. To put people on giant waitings in Europe and Canada, to put people on giant waiting systems. And now Canada is just saying, well, if you can't get treated, just die.
Yeah, that's too.
That's where it's at in Canada, is saying, just die. If you can't get treated in time, just kill yourself. That's why they want to put in the suicide pods. Just die. That's where we're at. That's in the socialist system. In Switzerland, in Canada, kill yourself. because we can't afford to take care of you, despite the fact that everything is paid for. We're in our great socialized medical system. Well, how's that working? They're saying to kill yourself because they can't afford to take care of you.
Can I continue?
I don't know. I mean, that's what they're saying, not me. That's not me saying it. It's them, right?
Programs that we need to, that there's no accountability for,
Which
is being
programs are
wasted.
those?
Any one of them.
But name
include
one.
military. Include any of the entitlement programs that we have.
Like which one?
Include welfare. Include food stamps. Include any one of them. We can pull it up and I'll tell you right now, any one of them.
But what I don't understand is, what do you mean by there's no accountability?
Can I give an example, please? Because
Dude, how you're pretending not to know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he is being intentional.
Difficult fucking prick.
Well, this is a common tactic amongst many people on the left, is they pretend to not understand what the other person is talking about.
Just to frustrate them?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think of
It's to
any
frustrate
other
them.
reason why you don't know what the fuck this person's talking about. Because you just
I
come
think it's
across like a
probably
dickhead.
Yeah, probably to frustrate them predominantly, but I think it's also to just pretend to be clueless. Like, oh, I've never heard of this before. So that you can claim to be innocent, right?
And look like a
When
complete
this
fucking
person
bellend.
comes out with something that you very well know, something that you know very well about, and then say, actually, I didn't know about that, but here's why you're still wrong. Let's see how this works out, though. I haven't seen this video. You have.
Yep.
I think what you're trying to say is
that you don't know where I'm going with this is an issue. Because so what you're saying is you know exactly what happens with the money when you give it to when you pay taxes?
No, I just don't understand what you're talking about.
You
you don't understand that this man is saying government spends too much money. Do you know how I know he's
Hang
full
on.
of shit?
Well, here's what he just said, Spoon. He said, no, I don't know where my taxes go, but I also don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
It's a walking contradiction. Fucking constantly.
I mean, he's a meme. You're a joke, my dude.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't understand what you mean by saying that we don't. Yes, I don't know where government money goes, but I also don't understand your criticism of not knowing where government money goes. Are you out of your mind? Clearly, you are.
You really don't know what I'm talking about.
Let me give you some examples.
Can I just give one example and then we can open this up and you guys can have fun doing what you're doing? What I think you are saying is fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I think what Patrick is alluding to is the fact that we are now at $30 trillion in debt.
Okay.
And the fact that we keep piling on this issue of like, I get it. We all need military. We need the police. We need the firemen. We need all these social systems. We need a social safety net. We need welfare. We need Medicaid. We need Medicare. I think what his point is like, at what point is enough enough? Now we want to pile more stuff into our story.
I mean, I actually disagree with some of that, but my disagreement with that would be that I think that the government doing it is an incorrect way to do it. I think that instead incentivizing wealthy people to donate towards these things via tax incentives is the better way to fund all of these social programs rather than taxing the poor and middle income people. Poor and middle income people should not be taxed for this stuff, which they are. Instead, I do think and also I'm not saying tax the rich, but instead give them tax incentives to want to donate to these things. Give middle income people reasons to want to I don't think middle income people should necessarily be taxed at all, but like give people reasons to want to give towards an organization of their own choice so that they can pick what they want to give towards, that they can receive a tax incentive to do so. That would be my solution to this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Storage unit that is already filled to the brim, and we're going to keep piling and piling and piling more. And at one point is he saying, can we stop funding the government this way, because it's not a good look for us, because we're at 31, 32, 35 trillion. And what he's saying, I think, is like, we're going to have to make some cuts and make some adjustments.
Okay.
And you're saying,
really quickly, Mr. Beast style, says a Dutchman, yeah. Guess what? People who have a whole shit ton of money, if they get tax incentives, they'll be willing to do so. Particularly if they can get and earn good public will by doing so. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. The reality is that you just need to give people tax incentives, and I think that those who have more money will be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Taxing the poor and middle class is not a good idea.
Yeah,
It
your
makes
economy
them more
dies.
poor. It depresses them. It economically depresses them. And I'm not saying to overly tax the rich in the, just kill the rich kind of way that AOC is saying. I'm saying instead to incentivize the rich to give towards certain, pro-social organizations to avoid overt taxation, so that they can give towards these positive groups and organizations that are doing things for the poor, rather than it being taken by the government, so the government can waste it away by giving to themselves. That's what always happens, and I don't like that.
Because the government sucks at that.
Yeah, because they always give towards themselves.
Let's double down. Let's keep adding some to this stuff.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm like, you want to add more systems, you said.
I think
you said I want one or two more.
No, but wait a minute. You really didn't understand what I just said.
Did he not understand it, or did I not?
I'm asking you.
I want to get to just a very specific example of a specific program that you're displeased with.
His whole point is that the government spends too much money, and you think that giving a specific example is somehow going to suddenly activate the bubble in your tiny fucking head, Pac-Man. Like, really?
Wait,
that doesn't even make any fucking sense.
He doesn't know any specific examples. So that appears to be why, is David Pac-Man
a moron?
Sub 80 IQ? Is that the question? Because it sounds like he can't name an example, so he's asking for an example. Is Pac-Man sub 80 IQ, or which is possible? But I think what's more possible is that he is a liar, and that he's intentionally that he's pretending to be retarded.
Buddy, anything.
So you're against all government programs.
I didn't tell you all government programs.
So which ones are you against?
He
just told you all the government programs he's in
into
favor
programs that you're coming out saying, hey, we're going to spend $88 million for this.
Okay.
If you want me to pull it up and we can go through expenses and tell you which ones works and which one doesn't, we can do that as well if that's what you want to do. But if you constantly come to me for more money, let me just put it to you this way.
Yeah.
What does it mean when a company or an individual is in debt $200,000?
When a company or an individual
let's just say I'm in the $200,000.
Okay.
And it was $100,000 5 years ago.
Okay.
It was $50,000 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was $10,000 15 years ago. I come to you for another $50,000. Right. Should you lend it to me?
Probably not. No.
What are we doing? What are we doing? We're lending our taxpayer.
It sounds like you're analogizing.
But we're lending our taxpayer money.
Whoa, hang on.
And we keep getting into more and more and more and more in debt. If the government was an individual or a corporation, I don't understand why investors keep giving this government more money when they have no cash.
The critical answer is the government and countries are not like households or companies. That's the difference. It's just,
no,
it's not.
It's really fucking not, David. He's
completely. Hold on a second.
Patrick's completely right. Go ahead, sorry.
If you listen very carefully in the next about 5 minutes, he's going to make the case for monarchy.
Oh, really? David is?
No, Patrick is.
Okay.
Because I listened to him like, dude, that's totally the case of monarchy, right? It was great.
But Patrick here is completely correct on this, though.
Yes.
Is that it's just like, oh, you fail, we'll give you more money. Oh, you failed again, we'll give you more money.
If your credit rating was like this, you would never get a fucking loan ever.
And Patrick's only response is, well, why not just give you more money, essentially?
Yeah, David's what I mean.
Well, you'll do better next time, right? It's completely juvenile. And
insane.
I would say economically illiterate.
Yeah, it's completely suicide.
Yeah,
not true.
Not
though.
analogous.
That's not
it's
true.
Not
though.
analogous.
That's not true though.
Analogous.
So meaning it's okay.
Analogous, please. I know I don't normally get on people for pronouncing words wrong because I do all the time, but not generally. But it's analogous, not analogous.
For us to keep going into debt, that's okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
So what is different about it?
It's important to have a balanced view that when it comes to, and what's crazy about this is, I'm not advocating for getting more and more into debt, right? Trump did a great job of it blowing up the deficit. The deficit
It wasn't because of people in Congress who control the fucking purse strings in the latter half of his
No,
presidency.
not at all. Not at all.
Even though the
No.
fact the president doesn't do anything with budgets, that's fucking Congress, and it was the fact that the House was under the purse strings and the last 2 years
I
of his
know.
presidency.
No, how
Convenient facts.
curious that now how curious that now all the economic problems are not Biden's fault whatsoever. Isn't
Yeah.
that cute now, David? Isn't that fucking cute now, David? That none of the current, I mean, devastating economic problems that are because the United States economy is so fucked, it has literally screwed the entire world's
Trump
economy.
is keeping
That's
money away
fine.
from regular people while we shut down the fucking economy. 2 fucking years later, Biden's in, oh, we have economics problem because of the Trump administration. Like, you fucking disingenuous cunts. Fuck you.
How bizarre. I mean, it's like, how can you, I don't even understand how people like
Pricks.
this can live with themselves. You know what I mean?
Uh,
I really don't get it.
I think through a lot of smugness. Like, this is a level of smug that makes me go like, if I ever get this smug in any
mean,
of my
you're very
videos,
smug.
I'm not this fucking bad.
No, but you're smug while being correct and actually like having
That's sexy.
reasons to come to the conclusions that you come to. Whereas David is like most people on the
One of my
left.
friends
not
are
all,
listening, by
but
the way.
many-
She's gonna message me in like 2 minutes, going like, "You're such a prick."
many people on the left who are like just smug while having absolutely no evidence, while calling themselves the party of
Yeah.
science, have no evidence and just being like, well, this is correct because I have the correct opinions because I'm on the left. And that's not a real argument.
Religion
It's
is bad.
bullshit.
So what? Religion is bad. Sorry, I was too busy sucking off Uncle Sam. So,
Religion is bad. Oh, fuck off. Like that, man.
Pricks,
Like I don't. Weirdly, the which I don't think any of us could have predicted, but the atheism plus movement did so much more harm than I think any of us could have predicted.
Oh god,
You know?
yeah, that's not even a. I mean, that's not remotely an exaggeration.
You still have a pot. It's slightly
Notice
lower
I didn't
under
say
Biden.
Republican or Democrat.
Neither-
I'm
no,
telling you, I'm
saying
not supportive of a period.
Presidents, generally speaking, increase the debt.
But first,
Fair.
make the argument on how different it is to give the analogy
Yes.
of personal household, that it's okay for the government to increase its debt, but not on the personal side.
It's
or
not
the
a question of
company
it's
side.
okay. It's not the same. And what I'm struggling with, Patrick, is that like everything I'm saying is just being relayed to me, usually interrupting me incorrectly. So now I'm having to clean up.
He's barely interrupted you. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, once that's gonna end well.
He's being a little baby bitch.
Yeah.
What you think I said to then answer the original thing.
No, what you actually said. Just
But by the
don't-
way, have you felt like he's done that even once?
No, Patrick has done nothing but actually respond to the things that David has said, and David is now getting fucking booty blasted by the fact that his own ideas are being brought into
Owned.
real, are being
Economic
really
reality.
are being really considered and are actually being criticized, and he has no idea how to comprehend it other than saying you're being mean to me. That's
Yeah.
not what's happening, David. This is called an actual political discussion, and you can't deal with it outside of being, you're being mean to me. Ugh, what a
See,
loser.
This is
My
why
point
he
is
looks
the fault-
good when
They're
it's
different
only
things.
They are-
him talking to the camera.
Oh, I know,
But
because he literally, yeah.
Yeah, but when somebody else is actually talking to him, he looks like a fucking idiot.
He has no capacity to hold his own whatsoever.
no.
Did we watch this video before?
No, we haven't.
All right.
It only came out like a
Oh.
couple of days ago, or like
No,
yesterday.
but we watched another video with Patrick and David before where like Patrick just completely fucking wrecked him. That was it.
Are you sure? I feel
I
like
feel
I would
like
know
it.
that.
Unless I'm having a
I think
Well, I don't know.
I think you may be mistaken with somebody else.
what? No. I feel like we've definitely watched something
They've
very
never had
similar
a.
to this
they-
before.
It might have been with Pac-Man
No,
with somebody else.
really?
Yeah, because they've never
It
had a
must have
conversation
been.
together.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why I feel like I'm. What do you call it? Where you have a dream about something that you've experienced before.
If I ever have a dream about David Pac-Man and I tell you about it, you should
Oh
kill me.
no! But like when you like feel like you've experienced something that you've experienced before. Someone in the chat will know what I'm talking about, but I'll get to it in a minute when someone finds it. I
Like
can't
a
remember
heavy
what
case
that's
of deja vu.
Deja vu. That's it. Deja vu.
Explain why.
They are different things.
Explain.
With a household
Yeah.
or corporate budget or debt, you at some point at the end of the day don't have any more recourse to carry the debt, and you either have to declare bankruptcy or you have to, all the things that you know. With a country, of course, if the economic growth becomes decoupled from the growth in the national debt, that is a problem. We've seen it in many, many countries. But in the United States, and again, I'm not saying who cares about the debt or the deficit, but I think we have to appreciate that there's a difference. If your economy keeps growing, if that national debt...
Okay. I have to be really clear about something. It's a common leftist narrative, is that if the economy keeps growing and the debt keeps growing, it's good because the economy keeps growing, without understanding. Now, and they do know this, but it's a lie, that they will say that the fact that the debt keeps growing and the fact that inflation keeps growing is actually good for the economy. It means there's more spending going on.
Do you not find,
that's what he's saying.
Do you not find his narrative ridiculous? I'm not advocating for more debt, but as long as the economy keeps growing, we can keep getting in debt indefinitely.
Well, yes, that's the whole point, right? This entire stupid boomer narrative. Now, some of our friends have made this argument as well, which is that the United States is the biggest world power in the entire universe. Therefore, the United States never has to pay back its debt. So it never matters how much debt the United States is in.
That one.
Because the United States can always cancel its debt at any point. And I think that's the same argument from which David Pac-Man is arguing, which is that, well, the United States can always just cancel its debt because we're so powerful that it doesn't matter how much debt we have. I don't think it's actually how it's going to work in the longitudinal reality. China or Russia or somebody's going to eventually call on those debts. Yeah. I know that some very silly economists have said that no one will ever call the U.S.'s debts, but I find that difficult to believe. Yeah, Krugman would say that, but I don't think that's correct. Ahab for $10. Sorry,
go on.
Ahab for $10 says the debt ceiling is a self-inflicted wound. We printed, spent, and borrowed to the point where we can't stop printing, spending, or borrowing, or it all sinks. Why is it so hard for some to understand? I know. Yeah. Like, we're in this point where it's going to keep going up and up, but the idea that no one's going to ever call the debt is nuts.
Yep. Someone's
going to call the debt at some point. That's just the reality. Like,
grows more or less in parallel with the growth of the economy.
Yeah.
And it continues to be backed. You don't get to that day where there is you're now being evicted crisis that an individual has.
Notice he's not in any way saying we should lower the debt.
No, of course not.
It's just as long as the economy grows. But he doesn't fucking explain how the fucking hell the economy grows.
But again, if inflation is growing, the economy grows in its own way, right? Because everything is going up and up and up. The value is the total value is remaining the same, but the cost is going up. So that looks really good on paper, right? Like, well, the total value is staying the same, but the cost is going up, so it looks like an increase in the economy. This is why people like this can use economic forecasts to lie and create absolutely hideous shit for people. So he would say that the fact that eggs now cost $8 a pack for a dozen is a good thing because, well, the economy is growing, right?
Yeah, except it's not keeping in pace with inflation.
The economy is growing. That's how he would explain things like this, and that's the problem. He's saying that would be a proof of the economy growing because things are getting more expensive. That's not how it actually works. This is a very childish and, I would say, sophomoric understanding of the economy, but that's how
I was going to get it just blind ignorance.
Well, I would say it's because David Pac-Man has a sophomoric understanding of most things, but yeah.
That doesn't, let me say this one more time. I'm not saying the debt doesn't matter. There are people who say it literally does not matter. I'm not saying that.
Here's the question. Okay, so but let me kind of try to give the point of the example I want to give to you.
Yeah.
So what is a sign when an institution keeps increasing its debt? What sign is there? So if I keep getting fatter, is it because I'm a big bone person? Or
now listen to this. Listen to this insane bullshit fucking reply.
It's because I may have a bad diet and not exercising. What do you think?
I guess you
need polls. I forgot.
Okay, let's go.
You personally? Yes, he spoke about himself, you fucking moron.
Yeah, he said you personally. I keep getting fatter even though I have a good diet.
Like, who the fuck do you think he's talking about? He said, if I.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
pay attention. Jesus Christ.
No, he's trying to, like, this is actually, I don't mind this part.
No, the rage. Like, this part, probably, like, top 3
I know.
things that piss
Oh,
me
this
off.
is gonna be your big rage. All right, let's go.
You personally? I guess I'd have to ask your doctor. I don't know.
If you're a...
Oh my
See what I mean?
God.
I don't need to ask a doctor when you weigh 200 pounds.
I'd have to ask your doctor if when you eat like shit, by his own admission, why I'm overweight. This is lunacy. This is this kind of like absolute nonsense he's left to tell themselves. Like David Pac-Man's not a big fat fuck, so why is he ascribing towards this fat positive nonsense?
Do you see now why I said that annoyed me? A little bit,
Okay,
yeah.
so I don't know if you actually knew this about me, but I hate fat positivity, and it makes me very angry.
I don't like fat people.
Like it. Oh, no, I like some fat people, but I don't like
No. I like
positivity.
people, and they may be fat, but I don't like fat people ever. They disgust me. They're gross.
Okay. I kind of disagree with that. There are many fat people that I like, and they're...
Oh, you don't like them because they're fat.
No, and like yes, that's exactly correct. Like I don't like someone because they're fat, but I hate fat positivity. This whole fat positivity movement is completely fucking disgusting. It's leftist insanity as so much as like the transgender stuff is. It's complete nonsense. It's like, oh, you can be healthy at any size.
No,
you can
you
be
can't.
healthy when you're 700 pounds and literally and you're like have to be an oxygen machine and you're just healthy as everybody else. Oh, are you out of your fucking mind? Like,
Yes,
but no, that's how they feel about it, and it completely blows my brain. But that's how they feel about it. Is that like you're wrong and you're being discriminatory by saying that people who are overweight are unhealthy? Well, guess what they are.
I like being discriminatory.
You know what else? You know what else? And I never hear leftists talk about. You know what else is unhealthy? Being underweight. I've been underweight for a whole bunch of my life because I've had anorexia. No, leftists don't normally talk about that now, do they? They only talk about being really fat, don't they?
A little bit, probably.
Because that's what they usually are. Usually they are. That's what they always talk about because that's what affects them. And they don't talk about being underweight and having anorexia and having serious, eating
what's up,
disorder.
Alex?
Now, I'm not saying but I'm not trying to do anything. But I've struggled with anorexia for like most of my adult life, and that's whatever it is. I've gotten mostly over it. I've gotten over it for like the last 10 years, but like
Eat more
it's
food,
still
dear.
I know, but like now most of the time when it affects me, it's not on purpose. It's because I get sick, and then like I get sick, and then like I can't eat for like a month or
That's like the laziest ever.
But like like these people, I don't see any of them ever give any kind of consideration towards people who have anorexia, which is a serious mental disorder. They don't, because they think that that's privilege. I've in fact seen them
like a
say,
Scooby snack.
not even fucking joking. I've seen leftists say that anorexia is privilege, having this like severe mental disorder that actually, guess what? Like being fat kills you, but they won't say that being fat kills you. Anorexia does kill you. And they won't ever provide any kind of help for people who have anorexia at all. They don't say like, being fat's healthy. Actually, I'm so brave. What's that big fat ginger bitch? They made like their face of all kinds of things for me.
Oh, I don't care. They all look the same to me. They're just massive.
Yeah, whatever. Like,
They're just blonde.
it's great. I'm so strong and brave for being like massively morbidly obese, and it's like, oh my god.
I told Aiden she needs to lift weights.
That's what Bill says to lift heavy object.
Yeah,
play video though.
It's also a good way to get tears away. Lift heavy shit.
Lift heavy object.
Yep.
Small bone guy. You don't seem like you were big when you were. Have you ever been 200 pounds?
No.
Okay.
No.
So if you all of a sudden next time you come on the podcast, you're
Yeah.
250 pounds,
You
should
would
I
be
be
worried
concerned?
about me. You should be concerned.
So can you accidentally become 250 pounds?
It would be a number of accidents in a row.
Exactly. Which, by the way, you probably enjoyed your
they
dinner.
would
You probably
say it was
enjoyed
an
your food.
accident.
Right.
But if you came back 250 pounds, as a friend or even somebody that's in the similar space that we're
Yes.
creating content,
Right.
should I off camera say, hey, bro, what's up?
I would appreciate it if you did.
Okay,
Yeah.
I should do. You're a father, you got a kid.
Yeah.
I'd like you to be around for your daughter.
Thank you.
Statistically, we're a better society when we are.
Right.
Okay. So if you come to me and I'm smelling bad,
Yeah.
I'm not shaving, I look
don't have
like
the cologne
crap,
and-
I
yeah.
have nothing, and I'm getting worse week after week after week, should you question and say, Pat, is everything okay?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's a good
These
idea.
are fun examples.
I'm
This
trying to
is
have
just
fun with
so
you.
different than
but no,
what
it's
we're
not.
talking about.
If a country keeps increasing its debt year after year after year after year after year,
Right.
should we not be concerned?
We should be concerned about whether we're spending money in the right ways. We should be concerned about whether we're
But let's
collecting the
give
right
them
amount
another
of tax.
$1.9 trillion.
I'm not saying that. That's the thing. You know, I don't.
But
I'm
you
not-
are saying that because you said the
he
only
got out of
difference.
this immediately. Can you please pause? He got out of that immediately. No, I'm not saying it. We're talking about right now. The United States in this last year has now spent over $110 billion in Ukraine.
Yep. And what does it got the American people?
What? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, the entire American economy is falling to pieces. The cost of eggs is like, according to some people, up to $8 for a dozen. And we're giving we've given over 110 billion to Ukraine. We're not paying attention. We're not caring for our local people. So this is absolute nonsense.
Yep.
Absolute insanity.
Friends, when you went to your example of military and you wanted me to say yes, and you said, look, I'm not a socialist because I think this. And he said, the only difference is I just want 2 or 3 more programs. And what I'm saying is we can't afford it today.
Okay, that's
maybe in 20 years.
But and I worry that I don't know if you think I'm talking in bad faith or if you maybe don't understand my political views, but I think differences that are actually much more subtle than you think they are being blown up as if there's this crazy difference here about what's going on. We're definitely using different rhetoric in this conversation, but I don't know whether we're actually understanding each other really that well, because I'm with you. If there are programs that are wasteful, how do we define wasteful, right? That's the difficulty.
Oh my
but
god. Oh my god.
The debt
Like,
being ballooned, you fucking retard.
So he doesn't, like, you have to define what's wasteful. Right. Well, I mean, like,
Why are we in $31 trillion in debt in the United States? Do you think you can answer that one, Pac-Man?
no, of course
You
not.
disingenuous shithead.
Well, what things are wasteful? I don't know. Spending
All of it.
$100 billion in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Is that maybe a little bit wasteful? How about like how about spending millions? How many was it, like $20 million for Pakistani gender programs?
Oh,
How
yeah.
about that? There's all kinds of waste in the United States in terms of its spending programs. It just never ends.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
There are programs. If there are programs that are not economically stimulative, if there are programs that are being used for fraudulent reasons or whatever the case,
I agree. Abolish Congress.
I'm going to be right there with you saying we need to do something about this. The things I'm looking at when they are done in other countries, The country doesn't become socialist. You can still own your business. They don't socialize your business. They don't communize your business. None of those things happen. Many of these countries have really good business environments, but they're just saying, hey, we have enough riches here that this capitalist system has created, which I'm in favor of, where we...
Okay, guess what systems you're talking about?
Systems of
Guess
which
what countries? Guess what countries he's talking about?
Norway, Sweden, Denmark.
Norway, Sweden, and Denmark.
Yes.
That's exactly the 3 countries, and maybe Iceland. These are the 4 countries he's talking about. 5 countries he's talking about. The Scandinavian countries that are not totally not involved. I mean, like, even though they have, okay, I've talked about this many times, and I've talked to my Scandinavian friends about this, is that those countries have a longitudinal history. Something called janteloven. Are you aware what janteloven is?
What, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you described this like 4 times to me.
I know, so you know what it is. Just for people who don't know. Janteloven
basically like a
is
code of ethics.
It's a code of ethics that says like you do not, the most important part of Janteloven is do not think you are better than anybody else. That is the most important part of Janteloven. Janteloven is a system that says that you should help the society around you so that everybody gets along and nobody suffers. And even in our Janteloven talk. But I'm just saying that this is why the Scandinavian countries have a Janteloven, socialist system. It's very, very different from the social system that would be provided or understood in any other society, because the Scandinavian countries have this history within them, right, of the Janteloven
code of conduct.
Outside of that, there aren't not every other country, not every other society has Janteloven or a similar idea that's built within them. That's why the system doesn't necessarily work anywhere else. It's working such as it is in Scandinavia, in Norway and Sweden and Norway,
cultural
for the reasons that
climate.
it is. Yes, it's cultural. Now, it's not necessarily going to work if you then import millions of immigrants into Scandinavia, right? Who don't value Janteloven. And I have friends who are Scandinavian, and they are like, yeah, well, I'm having a hard time right now, so I'm not working, and it's very good for me that I don't have to work right now because of the system that I live in. But the reality is that if you import 1 million people from the Middle East and Africa, well, you're not going to have that capacity anymore now, would you?
No.
Because they're going to take advantage of the Janteloven system. That's the reality. And that's what's currently facing a lot of Scandinavian countries, is that you're not going to be able to have the Janteloven system if you import
Everyone is draining the
millions
shit out of it.
or hundreds of thousands of people from outside of those countries into your country. Yeah.
Urukai.
He can do a couple more things.
And
That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying to you is...
You don't want it.
No, it's not what I'm saying to you, that I don't want it.
Yeah, we can't afford it.
If you can stop interrupting this entire damn show, freaking,
It's not fun, is it?
No, I'm good with it. It's part of having conversations with people. It doesn't offend me. But if I sit there and I say, David, we can't afford it right now.
Okay. I would say, what do you mean?
I would tell you it's called $31 trillion.
Okay.
Is what it's called. We're in debt. A lot of debt.
Okay.
And you may not have to pay it back. Somebody has to pay it back. Your 7-year-old's going to have to pay it back, but that money's not going to print. 7-month-old's going to have to pay it back. Someone's going to pay it back.
Yeah.
Okay. That $31 trillion, you're not just one day going to say, guys, let's just write this thing off. You guys okay, China? Hey, Japan, you cool? Let's just write this thing off and just forget about it. And let's start again.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Well,
we can't do that. We have that debt. We can't afford it right now.
One of the things about a lot of these issues is, first of all, they're way bigger than any conversation where we just like list the programs and say we cut. If you look historically, countries don't cut their way to economic prosperity.
Yes. Now you're going to move the goalpost from here's economic activity to fucking hell, now we're gonna fucking bollock this up and say, now we're gonna talk about economic growth. It was first debt and now it's growth. Because Patrick kicked the shit out of him when it came to the debt, and now he's gonna move on to this.
Countries tend to grow their way to economic prosperity.
Yes, and how do you grow your way to economic prosperity? Is it maybe because you can get the government to fuck off because government doesn't make any money, and private enterprise is how you increase your country's wealth? You get.
You with me so far?
Yes. Countries grow their way out of economic prosperity.
No, that's the opposite of what I said.
Countries
grow their way into economic prosperity. They grow by
I've
building
heard that one
businesses.
too many times. So let's keep getting in.
And who grows businesses? Is it business people or is it the state?
Well, according to Pac-Man, it would be the state. The state creates businesses, which is the antithesis of reality. But because I mean, like, you know, when the state creates businesses, everyone likes that, and that does great. It's not independent individual people. I mean, Pac-Man's a communist, so like Pac-Man's saying that communism is how you create prosperity. Well, how's that worked throughout the entirety of human history? At least in the last 100 years.
He's a welfare capitalist.
No. Yes.
Into debt is what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, over the long term, if the government spending is economically stimulative, it will help to grow the economy. It's fundamental.
No. Why would the government spending? Why would the government spending be economically stimulative? It disincentivizes people from actually trying to work, from actually trying to produce goods. When the government will subsidize them, they won't work in that case. They will try to do just to try and get more money from the government. It's
government.
Here's the thing: it's basic psychology. This is what I think that people who like. I don't mean this to be entirely rude. Like I am rude towards David Pac-Man, but I think some people who get so involved in this stuff, what they don't understand is that they think like, oh well, like here's my idea because I read a bunch of Karl Marx and whatever. It's like, okay, but that's cool, but have you read any psychological research? When people feel like they don't have to work, they won't work.
Yeah.
Duh.
Have you ever read any Mises?
Yeah.
Have you ever read any Thomas Sowell or Henry Hazlitt?
When people don't feel as if they have any reason to work, when they feel as if they can get away with not working, they won't work. Because work... Okay, by the way, I don't think work sucks. Work kind of sucks, right? It does. But we have to also... Well, you and I have a nice job, but like I've had harder jobs before in my life, and I cannot fathom. Now, this is just me, and I think that anybody who's worked and not worked could probably agree with this. Is that
we're technically earning money right now.
No, but what I'm saying is that hang on, let me finish my thought process here.
My apologies, go on.
If you're not working, at least for me, I feel like a complete lack of willingness to live. Like I don't understand like how people can do nothing. Like when I take just even like 2 or 3 days off to go play a video game or something, or just to get away from my work because I'm sick or something, I feel like such a fucking loser. Like I don't know if anyone else feels that way. But that's how I feel. And I've had people tell me that, like, that's because I'm a boomer or something. But I think that that's actually a normal thing. Is it? Yes, I believe, as Biker Dance says, humans require purpose. And I think that we require some kind of purpose and meaningfulness in our life. I don't just believe that in isolate. I believe that there's a bunch of data illustrates that as well. We need to be doing something. Just sitting around and playing video games all day is not going to make you feel fulfilled. There's 2 different things that exist that make people happy. It's eudaimonia and hedonia. Right?
English.
So, in English, eudaimonia is a feeling of meaningfulness. And hedonia is a feeling of pure happiness, right? Or pure enjoyment. Bliss, right? So, I think that, and what we find within the data is that hedonia is very short-lived. It's very limited, whereas eudaimonia, meaningfulness, finding, and by the way, not everyone's job is eudaimonic. Most people's jobs are not eudaimonic. Most people's jobs fucking suck. But if you can find a job that gives you eudaimonia, then that is way more important. And it's not just a job. Like, in fact,
Purpose.
what's more important, I would say, with most people, finding purpose is in having a family, is in finding other things that give you, a true eudaimonic experience. Eudaimonia is what people should seek out. Hedonia, just feeling pure pleasure, is temporary. It is not
hedonistic.
longitudinal. It is hedonistic. I would call it it's hedonia, aka hedonistic. Yes. So I think that the left constantly drives towards hedonia or hedonism. The right seems to drive towards eudaimonia. And that's why I drive towards eudaimonia. Eudaimonia is, I think, the correct way that people should we should all be striving for. Like, look, if you have a shitty fucking job, like, and you hate it, and you're not feeling fulfilled, that sucks. And I don't want you to. I'm not trying to say like you must feel eudaimonia from that job, right? But not pneumonia, eudaimonia. I'll spell it here for you in the chat. Eudaimonia. There you go. Cosmic Dragon for 2, or Dogoron for 2, excuse me, Cosmic Dogoron for 2 says, keep working for us, wagey uwu uwu. Don't necessarily work in a wagey job that makes you feel fucking miserable. Try to find a job that makes you feel eudaimonic. And there can be even wagey jobs that would make you feel eudaimonic. Like, I worked in a shitty job at Kmart for a while, but even I could feel at some point eudaimonic when I was working at that job, because I was working there talking shit about about the customers with my other coworker, and it made me feel eudaimonic at some points, being like, oh, fuck these people. And that's, you gotta find your own eudaimonia. So, but this is this is from someone like David Pac-Man, who's rich as fuck and has probably never worked a real job his entire fucking life. It's really fucking stupid.
He actually has, apparently.
Has he? What real job has David Pac-Man ever worked?
He mentions it in the video if we can watch it.
Oh, let's go. Sorry, let's go.
Demand economics. So, like, as an example, that are these cigars, by the way? I just noticed this over here.
You can take it.
If countries
segue, by the way,
spend money on I don't know, you seem to be looking something up. I don't know if you're paying attention.
I'm listening to you, though. I am listening to you. Go ahead.
If countries spend money on economically stimulative programs with a high economic multiplier, they can create growth. If countries spend money in ways that are not economically stimulative, then it increases the debt. So, for example, just
welcome to Basic Econ 101 that you need to tell to a fucking business owner.
Yeah, what the fuck? Are you
like childishly retarded?
I mean, like,
I get that he's trying to explain this to an audience, but like, how basic do you want to go? Hey, look, if we spend on stuff that makes business grow, that's good. If we waste money on shit, that's bad. No fucking shit, Pac-Man.
Make business grow. We spend money, don't make business grow. Business don't grow. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, David. And you know, one thing that totally pissed me off about this kind of area of discussion is that over this COVID pandemic, like, basically huge amounts of small businesses got destroyed over this, right?
Yeah.
And people like David didn't give a shit about that, did they? Because it's based because we have to protect people from our thing. Okay. And now he's here caring supposedly about small businesses. Cool.
Yep.
Just to pick two different programs. I don't have any emotional attachment to these two programs. I'm just going to list two programs: food stamps and what is happening in here, by the way? Are those gummies?
Yeah, taking vitamins.
Man, this is
healthy for you.
I know.
I don't want to be a 400-pound guy.
Food stamps have a high economic multiplier. Okay, tax cuts for the very rich have a low economic multiplier.
Okay, two things, David.
Yes.
You dumbass, hold on. First of all, food stamps do not have a high economic multiplier. That's crap.
Nope.
Secondly, tax cuts for the rich is not an expenditure. That's the government taxing a business less.
Yes,
That's
okay.
not an expenditure program, you fucking idiot. That's a false equivalence.
Thank
A
you.
really shit one,
Yes.
too.
So taxing the business less is not a tax break for the rich. It's
Yes.
encouraging business to
growth.
keep producing in the country. It's encouraging
Yes.
their growth. Because guess what?
Dumbass.
Otherwise,
They fuck
they'll
off.
leave the fucking country.
Or the
you
state.
Absolute fuck, or the state.
Yeah.
You absolute fucking moron. Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand why leftists really can't figure this out, right?
Yes. Do you know
They
do-
super can't
yeah.
figure this out.
Do you know what businesses like, Aiden? Profit.
Yeah,
Do you
no
know what business?
shit.
Do you know
And
what
so they
businesses
just
don't
leave.
like? Taxes. Do you know how you
And that's for
stimulate
the-
business growth then? Lower their fucking taxes, you shithead.
And as for the food stamp stuff, it's like,
Mm.
well, okay, well, you know how you make it better so that more people can afford food stamps? Oh,
Produce
you
more
have
food.
businesses operating in that state that are able to make the state more wealthy so that they can afford more food stamps. Instead of making it impossible for companies to operate within that state or that country so that they can't afford to pay for food stamps. You absolute mong. You haven't. It's unbelievable to
Same
me
long is funny.
that somebody like this, whose entire career is based on being a political and particularly an economic commentator, has the economic acumen of a 5-year-old. I can't believe it. But of course he does, because he's a leftist. Gary Thomaster 5 says, I forgot to ask earlier if you guys think there will actually be a World War III. People have been freaking out about Chinese warships and planes
No.
near Taiwan. I don't think World War III is going to happen, but it won't be in a pure warfare environment. It will be
Cyber warfare.
different types of. It'll be cyber warfare. I don't think it'll be like a
Economic
hot war.
warfare.
Yeah, that's my personal opinion, but
New
we'll
Cold
see.
War it'll be
I could be
probably.
very wrong. I could be very wrong on that. Well, let's hope it's just cyber warfare, which is horrible, but better than hot
It's
war.
gonna
right?
involve a lot of AI.
Yeah.
I'm not passing judgment in any
Yeah,
way.
you are.
I'm just
You
telling
are.
you
You are.
there are ways that the government can spend money that is good for the economy and ways that is not so good. That's my only point.
What were the two programs you said you wanted to add on?
I think we should have some kind of minimum level healthcare system for everybody, and
Okay.
it would actually be cheaper than what we have. What we have.
No, it probably won't. And here's the thing: like, if you look at Canada, as I've said, here's the thing in Canada. Guess what? You still have to pay for it, and you're gonna be put on a waiting list. Now, I can tell you how it is in the UK. Now, I'm not completely in the UK, but I got a huge fucking bill for my shit, so working great.
Have includes people that go to the emergency room as primary care, which is insanely expensive. Sometimes they don't pay their bills, and that leads to everybody who does have health insurance is just absorbing that cost. It would just be cheaper if we provided everybody some basic level of care.
And if you did that, then people we put on massive ass long lists to be able to get any kind of healthcare, and most people will not receive healthcare. That's what that will happen. Now, I went through that exact same system, got put in a way back line, and still had to give up with £100,000 fucking fee. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
There are states that have done it. I think that's just a basic thing. And secondly, I would like to socialize some aspect of paid family leave, parental and maternal. Not hugely expensive. It's economically stimulative in the sense that when other countries have done it, they find that productivity ends up being higher when parents return to work, and it's been widely studied. These are just like two things. We're already paying for most of them, either in terms of productivity losses or through the healthcare that we pay for to absorb people who don't pay and use the emergency room. It can be done, revenue neutral.
What percentage, like if going back to it, with what we have right now, the way it is today,
Yeah.
what percentage of your dollar are you comfortable paying in taxes?
1%.
Really?
Less than Abe Lincoln imposed. No, listen.
By the way, I'm not going. This has nothing to do with what I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I know.
You pulled up a different story.
Out of his mind.
But what percent are you willing to pay today?
He's out of his mind. 1%.
I think that was a joke, by the way.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because it's gonna be about 50%. That's gonna be continue. Sorry.
I am not a high tax guy. Okay.
What's high tax?
High tax. I mean, listen. I don't want to get too much into my personal finances, but like I don't.
Well, of course you don't. Of course you don't.
I don't like that.
Simple question.
I don't like that close to half of my income is going to tax.
You don't like that?
I think it's too high. I think it's too high.
So what do you think is reasonable?
Oh man, does it include healthcare and college or not?
I don't know.
Yeah,
just give a number though.
I
say it doesn't. Say it doesn't. That's
no
on you.
healthcare, no college.
No healthcare, no college.
Yeah. What we have today.
I would love to be in the 31 total.
Just so you know, we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, college should
so
not be
for me,
whatsoever.
the difference is the following.
Yeah.
One time I'm doing a podcast. I don't know who I'm doing a podcast with. Anyways, this was like a year and a half ago.
Sounds explosive.
And then no, it wasn't explosive. Actually,
I have to be very clear about the college thing. By the way, when the U.S. government started subsidizing college, guess what happened, Spoon?
It went really, really high.
Oh, the cost of college went through the fucking roof. Because colleges then knew that they could charge more and more and more and more.
Because the government will subsidize them.
Literally, the reason why college is so expensive now is because the U.S. government subsidizes it. That's why. That's why college is so. When my dad and mom went to college, they went to the same university, which I also got my graduate degree from. They paid, I believe it was something like $1,000, right?
Right.
For 4 years. Now I know that money has changed over that time, but it was like $1,000 over 4 years. Now the cost to go to school at my university, now I didn't have to pay for it because I was working at the school. I believe the cost to go at my university, Washington University, is I believe something like $30,000 a year.
Damn.
A year. That's a state university. Now, if you are in state, it's far less than that. I think it's like 50. But still, that's the difference between the 1970s and now. It's like $1,000 for 4 years versus, I mean, like what would essentially be $120,000. If I said it's $30,000, yeah, like so it would be 30, 60, 90, 120 for 4 years. Yeah. For a mid-range state school. And that's insane. But that's what it is now. And why is it that way? It's that way because the left has made it that way. Because they require everyone to get university degrees.
Privilege. You gotta bring it back.
You know what I like about podcasts like this?
Yeah.
It makes me go research a topic. So one time we did a podcast about taxes. And how taxes at one point 90%, it was 90% taxes, and it was like for a long time.
Ronald Reagan. He wouldn't do more than 2
how
movies
Hollywood
a year.
was. This is what they're doing. This is what it was like.
So you're talking about a 90% marginal on the very top incomes under Eisenhower,
Correct.
right?
Can I make my point without you freaking intellects with degrees to interrupt this freaking high school graduate?
See, that's
guy.
ad hominem.
Okay. All right. So let me go back to this with these two Jews bullying me right now. So we're talking about taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said, let me go find out what's going on with taxes here and the history of it. Okay. So we send our research team, and I said, send me anything you can on taxes. You can assume this was like a very exciting 2 weeks of my life. Sure. Just studying taxes. It was awesome. It was a great experience. I can only imagine what it's like to want to be an accountant. It's got to be like a, fascinating experience.
High suicide rate among accountants,
So you know what happened? The one data that came about on when taxes got started, the history of tax. You know the whole story, what year it is, all that. I'm not going through that part. But I wanted to find out because a lot of people on the left say you can't compare governments to companies to, families.
You see what I mean? See where this is going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go.
Right.
Can. It just might not be useful.
But meaning it's not the same thing. You can't do that financially,
useful.
all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So you see the Lincoln thing that, story pops up where, back in 1861, this guy goes up and says, hey, U.S., we kind of need some money.
Yeah.
This war was so expensive for us. We're going to have to tax everybody 6%.
Yep.
But I promise you, when we pay it off, we'll stop taxes. Do you know what happened?
Well,
after they paid it off?
The taxes didn't end.
No, it ended.
Oh, they did end.
Let me read it to you.
Are you
Can
talking
pull
about
this
the
up?
3% or the 6%?
So watch this here.
Okay.
Listen.
On August 5th, 1861, Lincoln imposed the first federal income tax by signing the Revenue Act strapped for cash, which the government is kind of like, they don't have cash. They're in debt. Yeah, so they need cash just like a corporation or a family. We don't have cash, so we need some debt.
Yep.
With which to pursue the Civil War, Lincoln and Congress agreed to impose a 3% tax on annual incomes over $800.
Yep.
As early as 1861, Lincoln had began to take stock of the federal government's ability to wage war against the South. He sent letters to cabinet members Edward Bates, Gideon Wells, and Salmon Chase requesting their opinions as to whether or not the president had the constitutional authority to collect duties. According to documents housed and interpreted by Library of Congress, Lincoln was particularly concerned about maintaining federal authority over collecting revenue from ports along the southeastern seaboard, which he worried might fall under the control of Confederacy. The Revenue Act language, Okay. According to the U.S. Treasury Department, the comparable minimum tax income in 2003, after adjustment for inflation, would have been around $16,000. Congress repealed Lincoln's tax law in 1871, which means there was no more taxes. But it came back up, obviously, in 1909. So this is an example of a story where we need some money. Let's go to the people. The people say, listen, here's some money, but I hope this stops. It's going to stop. So the moment we allow the government to use this power too much, they've abused it.
Okay.
And for me, my only argument is, if I have to choose between giving you $1 million, that's going to sound crazy, okay? I hope this doesn't get your head too big and you get too confident. Please. If I give you $1 million or if I give $1 million to the government, I'm willing to bet you're probably going to create, a better climate with $1 million than the government would. And if I have the choice to give $1 million or $1 billion to creators, job creators, small business owners on what they can do as a source of investment, versus giving that money to the government, if there was a FICA score, if there was a FICA score, I don't know what your FICA score is, but you know the range. 400,
very high, extremely high.
400 to 820, give or take, that's the number where it's at. If we had to give a FICA score to the U.S. government, what do you think their FICA score would be today? Yeah, but he needs polls.
Give me the polling on that. No, listen, here, I mean, what you're saying is super interesting.
Do you know the point I'm making now?
Yeah,
because I want to be clear.
No, it's a clear point. And here's one of the things that I think I'm guessing we would probably agree on, which is when you think about the way that we organize society, this isn't politics. This is just like sociology, philosophy, kind of like reality.
It's it.
Once you get a group of people bigger than about 150 people, okay? If you want that to be run in some way that works, what we might define as works, you have to start introducing some level of centralization. That doesn't mean with 150 people, you need the tax system and everything that we have right now. But it's just kind of like a reality of organizing societies, that as societies grow from 150 people, and think about it, 330 million people now in the US, 8 billion people in the country, the idea that you have, which is, I'll just pick some people to give $1 million to instead of the government. It's that it just doesn't work.
That's it.
Some things have to be settled.
I'm having fun with you, buddy, when I'm telling you that. But the point I'm trying.
Oh my God.
You see now I wanted to play this to you? I like the way that he has to strawman the shit out of Patrick's arguments. Because half the shit that he's been saying, Patrick never fucking says. Like, what the fuck? Aiden, you do realize you're muted, right?
Fuck me. All right. So he says, like, yes, we need a centralized system.
I don't know why your camera's on, by the way.
But it what?
You know why your camera's on?
I don't have a camera.
I don't know why. Okay, it's weird then.
He's saying, like, we need a centralized system. We need a centralized system, and we need to be in charge of it. And that's the only way that it's okay.
I don't know if I got that far.
I would say that that's it, but like he doesn't.
Well, you do
say
need some
that
centralization. That is correct.
That is correct. So it's interesting that he's accidentally making the case for a monarchical system. It's just that he wants to be in charge of it. He wants to be the king, right?
I wouldn't say that far, but Patrick has made the case that the family model works.
Yes, the family model does work. Let's see. Am I wrong about David thinking he and his ilk should be the oligarchy?
Yeah, no, I think he just wants responsible socialist government, which is a fucking pipe dream.
Well, I think that he thinks that he and his ilk should be in charge, and they are the oligarchy that needs to be in charge. I think that that's probably actually what David is advocating for, but I could be incorrect. Let's listen. Sorry.
Make
the idea is an interesting one.
Sorry.
No, but the
It's
point
not,
I'm,
okay.
The point, no, it isn't interesting. The point I'm trying to make to you is that's how the U.S. government was ran.
Yeah.
The country you and I are living in.
Yes.
It was ran that way. Guys, we don't have money. We go to the people. I promise you, once we pay this off, we're going to stop taxing you.
Yeah.
And we accepted it, no taxation. So we accept, we're like totally fine with this. We're game with this. And then now it's pure abuse. We don't have a choice now like we did back then.
Yep.
It was ran like a company. It was ran like a family, having their finances in order. Today,
monarchy.
Well, okay, in my opinion, now you know my opinion on this, taxation is theft.
Yes, because
all taxation is theft, because taxation is theft. Now, the only way that I would accept taxation, I would say all taxation is theft, but the only way in which I would be acceptable towards taxation is if it's done under a monarchic system, in which case, if the monarch fucks up, the monarch can be fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And that would be
or family will depose him because they
or
suck.
deposed. That would be my only situation which I would accept any form of taxation is if it's okay for not okay, but where it's understood that if the monarch truly fucks up, then we can come and take his head, right?
Yeah.
For using our taxes against our will, which is the exact opposite of what happens in a democracy, where we're just being like, oh, well, the taxes are used for all kinds of things we don't want, but I guess we're supposed to like it because democracy is so good. That's the opposite. Like, I don't like that at all.
Right.
Oh, it's so great that we have this democracy wherein no one listens to anything that we have to say. Now, I know that people look at that and they go like, that's violent, that's terrible. However, I think that's a better solution than just sitting by and allowing yourself to be tyrannized constantly by people who have no concern and have no reason to be concerned with your well-being or with your intuitions or with your desire. Because why should they? Because why should they? They got your money already. They ran off with it. They don't care. They don't give a shit about you. That's why I don't like democracy.
America's is in the 400s. You know, in the 400s, what you should be able to finance? Nothing.
I don't know. 60% down, 30% for cars.
Oh, it's at 400. It should be 100% down.
But so what would you want? So you said you were with me on like low 30s for taxes.
I am.
Right? Okay, yeah. So really, it sounds like the issue is more.
I would want a flat tax, and what I'm saying, I would want a flat tax, meaning I'd like to go somewhere between 10 or 15 to 33, and a time to go to 30.
That's not flat, is it?
I get that, but what I'm saying is, if America, like right now, we need to pay off debt. Guess what?
Yep.
Tax me 33.
Okay.
But let's gradually pay some of the stuff off. I would like for them to say, we're going to go off a budget of 25% or 20%. The 13%, every year we're going to pay off the debt. Okay? But here's a problem.
Yes.
You know why that'll never happen?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I don't know.
I'll give you my reason
because
why.
Congress people will never win on that type of agenda.
If we have no term limits, these guys are going to play whatever games to.
You're for term limits.
Are you kidding?
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
You kidding me? Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, we just found some common ground with David Pac-Man and Patrick.
I actually disagree. I don't think term limits will do shit.
I actually don't think that Patrick even agrees with that. He says that he agrees with that, but I don't think he really does.
What, the term limits?
Not Patrick, I'm sorry. Patrick is correct. I'm sorry. David Pac-Man, not Patrick.
Yeah.
I think Patrick absolutely believes the term limits. David Pac-Man 100% does not agree with that. He's just smiling and agreeing with it because he thinks that that's the thing he's supposed to say.
I don't agree with term limits either, actually. I think term limits will do shit.
I do believe in term limits. I actually think term limits should be very extreme. I think it should be
limits stop
two-term
our
limits.
presidents from being shit?
I think that one of the main problems in the United States government is the fact that that everybody else except for the president can serve for life. If you want to exist under the current United States government system, then it has to be a two-limit system for everybody, not just the president. If you want to continue the system, I think that's correct. I think that is a correct thing.
Can you imagine getting an entire new House and Congress every 4 years, let's say?
Yes, I would rather have that than have the nightmare system we currently have, which is completely nepotistic. Now, it still will be nepotistic, and because it's an inherent problem of democracy. But I think that having a two-term limit would reduce some of that nepotistic problem.
Do you know why I disagree with this?
Why?
What's the main thing that these people do when they get out of Congress?
Oh, they go and they fund other people.
Mm-hmm. They do lobbying. Now, if you wanted to, say, go into the government and you wanted to use it as a cash cow, you get out of this and you want a lobbying gig. You have every incentive then to play ball if you're in that Congress for 4 fucking years. You're not going to rock the boat because you are using this as a stepping stool to get out. So the idea that if you just get in, because let's be honest, the main thing that these people get into power for is corruption. So if they're already corrupt before they're in the system, it doesn't matter if they're 4 or 8 years, they're going to be corrupted because they get a fucking lobby job at the end of it. So the term limit isn't going to do fucking jack shit.
Yeah, probably. Lance says, be honest, Aiden, nepotism is a fundamental problem of human nature first and foremost. Yes, of course it is.
No, I kind of disagree with that.
No, I think it is. Let's finish this video.
David, term limits on the agenda.
My challenge isn't my challenge is we're giving money to people that have proven they have no clue what to do with it and the debt keeps climbing.
Now, when it comes to like social safety net, right? Can I tell you my view on this stuff and you tell me if you agree, right? I moved to the US as an immigrant. Okay.
This is my favorite bit because he just schools the shit out of him with just like this blinding knockout.
I had the benefit, if my parents had to pay for my initial schooling, like if they had to pay out of pocket for elementary school or whatever the case may be, they, my mom wasn't working at the time. My dad was just starting a job where he didn't make a lot of money. They couldn't have afforded if that public school said, we're going to charge you, right? So I immediately got the benefit of that. Follow along, right? I got the benefit of police protection and then eventually all these different things, contracts. So when I started my show, Intellectual Property. So the way I see it is, I've been extraordinarily fortunate to be.
Wait, did he see it like he was lucky that he got to go to school?
No, just listen to what he says.
Okay, hang on.
Able to build my business and get to where I am, thanks to a whole bunch of things that everybody paid for through taxes. So my view now is, but let me finish up. I'm also okay. Like I recognize, I've got these great employees. Many of them had public school educations, and they have certain protections when it comes to safety in the work. All these different things.
You should be able to do all that with no more than 30%.
No, I'm not even getting to 30. Yeah. But so I feel it's almost like a patriotic thing where if taxes are properly set and being spent on the right things, I think now my success, which only exists because of previous taxpayers through all those programs I mentioned, it should go to help other people who don't have enough.
That's the wrong mindset, in my opinion.
Okay.
And let me tell you why I think it's the wrong mindset. Because
let me just say, here's why I disagree with his, but Patrick is going to make a good point.
I'm sorry about the place you paused on Patrick, but go ahead.
Okay, the reason why, it's actually a good phrase frame for him. The reason why I disagree with this is because there's two things. You're not accounting for quality control. Because you're saying this happened when I was coming up, and therefore the same services that I got when I grew up, they will be the same as when they are now. And that's not the fucking case. Again, if you read Black Rednecks and White Liberals, Thomas Sowell mentions Mary Jane Peterson. She was the first black woman in the United States that got a bachelor's degree. And at those time, bachelor's degrees, I think they were separated from men and women, and she did the male one.
Yes.
And then she went to become the headmistress at a school called Dunbar High School, which was an elite black high school.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I know where Dunbar High School is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know
everything about this. Go ahead. Yeah.
In the 1930s. And this was done in the 1930s. So 1930s America, during the Great Depression, 75% of the kids
76% of the children in that school. 1930s America, Great Depression, went on to higher college. 60 years later, that same school, less than 25%.
Yeah.
So this idea of, ooh, this worked back then, it'll work now, like that's not the real work. There's no quality control in this example. It's fantasy.
No, there's no quality control. Like, okay, so my grandmother, right? This is some real ass shit. Hello, this is some real ass shit. Like, I don't lie about this shit. Like, and then people like, there have been many people who like super investigate my life because they're weird. But like, you can look this up and it's fine. You could look up all that shit about like the stuff I said earlier about like it's all public. That part about like the not arrest, but what do you call it? The tickets I got. My grandmother was one of the first women who ever graduated from Goucher College. One of the first women who ever did. And yet nobody gave a shit about that stuff. Like people just didn't give a shit. And they pretend to give a shit only when it serves their political interest, right? That's what drives me nuts, you know?
Yeah. But let's listen to his reasoning, because his reasoning is really good.
Okay. You ever had a job?
Have I ever had a job?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, you don't have a job right now. You're a business owner. Have you had a job?
Oh,
like
yeah,
working for a corporation?
Yeah.
Have you?
Were you there for 5 years? Like, did you work for a company for 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of funny, but I worked for the now defunct retailer Circuit City for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, selling extended service
They pay
plans.
very well, but I don't know when you worked, but
In
they
the
were
commission
paying very
era,
well in the commission
I
era.
got laid off when they went from commission to hourly.
Yeah.
The people who were making too many commissions, they didn't want to pay us hourly. They laid us off.
Check this out. Okay, so let me see if what year was it you were working at Circuit City?
It ended in 2003, so it would have been like
the era.
Yeah.
By the way, can you tell everybody how much a good salesperson at Circuit City was making?
Well,
if you remember, because
I'm willing to say this. I worked part-time because I was like starting college.
Check this out.
30 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I was making $75,000.
That's insane.
Yeah.
At Circuit City. Okay.
They realized it was insane. And they're
What the fuck? Are you out of your... What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my... I'm sorry. What the fuck? He made $75,000 a year working as a sales assistant at Circuit City?
Part-time as well.
Part-time. You know what I made working full-time at Kmart? Want to know?
Oh, we're not 75.
$15,000 a year.
Yes, that's a fair bit more.
No, 15. He said 80,000. I made 15. He said part-time he made 80. I made 15,000 working full-time at Kmart. What the? That's not that. My guys, and I'm just saying this. Everybody here who has ever worked in retail knows that what he just said there is a lie. That's what I'm saying. Holy shit.
You good?
Everybody in chat who has ever worked in retail, tell me how what David Pac-Man just said of making $80,000 a year working part-time at Circuit City is the biggest fucking lie you've ever heard in your entire fucking life. What a fucking shitbag. Holy shit.
Are you good?
Yeah, go ahead.
They're like, we're not paying these people
But that's
anymore.
bullshit, though.
Oh.
That's bullshit, though, because that's why they went out of business.
Right. Oh,
the
absolutely.
model was working.
Yes.
You guys were doing your
Best
part.
Buy came up,
Dude,
and then Best Buy's paying $7 an hour.
But
How are you
you're about to validate my point. So check this out. This is a perfect example here. The perfect
an
example
hour?
is
Hey,
here.
hold on.
So for me, you know how you go to a funeral and everybody's mourning, and maybe you don't know the person, but you're going because it's somebody you don't have a relate, like it's in-law or somebody like that.
Sure.
But just the pain on everybody's face, you feel it, right?
Yes.
So for me, when I hear a company going out of business, breaks my heart, especially a company that's been on for a long time.
Yep.
Because to start a company is very hard, very, very hard to start a company. To make it last past 5 years, super hard.
Right.
10, 20, 30 years. And then create hundreds, if not thousands of jobs. It's not easy to do. Somebody and a group of people had to sacrifice a lot, right? Okay. So what you're saying is the following.
Yep.
Hear me out.
Okay.
So the people who started Circuit City,
Yep.
okay, those who started Circuit City, those who paved the way before you, and they came and they crushed it, and now there's new management, and now because the people before you paved the way, you should accept lower salary to give back to the people that paved the way before.
He's never worked at
But
Circuit
it's not
City.
the people before that paved the way. It's the people today that are running Circuit City. You're actually not giving back to the people that paved the way. You're giving it to the idiots that are running Circuit City today. That's what's going on in America today, meaning
he just destroyed Pac-Man's argument, by the way. Like, flawless
I mean,
victory.
he did absolutely fucking destroy Pac-Man's argument, but Pac-Man also illustrated, without him probably even understanding, that he's never worked at Circuit City. Nobody who works who works at Circuit City makes $80,000 a year, except like the higher ups. So, okay, his actual argument got destroyed, but his entire claim is such insane nonsense that I wouldn't even know where to fucking begin with. It's so crazy. $80,000 working as a salesperson at Circuit City is incomprehensible nonsense. At best, you'd be making $15,000 to $20,000 a year.
See, I wasn't paying attention to that because I was too busy watching Patrick kick his ass.
Yeah. Patrick destroyed him, but also he lied about how much he was making. Or he was just... I don't think he's ever worked at Circuit City. I doubt he ever has. $80,000 a year? Are you out of your mind?
you and I love America. I lived in Iran 10 years. I lived in Germany 2 years. I was in the military. And I come from a family politically on complete opposite sides, but I love this place. It's an amazing country. My responsibility on how I can contribute to society isn't through paying taxes. It's through creating jobs. It's through
private enterprise.
You know, when I pay my taxes, I paid a lot of taxes this year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of taxes this year. Last year was a lot of taxes. I've been paying a lot of taxes, period. So, but for me, when I pay the taxes and I ask, where did that thing go to? Okay. What happened with that? What are they doing with that? If they're doing such a great job with it, why does the debt keep going higher? Why are we, keep not seeing any kind of return? Things are still same thing. Both of them are now asking to raise more money. Oh, it's only the left, the Democrats that just want to go. No, that's not. It's both of these sides who are part of the same camp. Another 1.9 trillion, another 2 trillion, another 2.7 trillion. I'm not for it.
Okay.
So all I'm saying to you is the same way the Circuit City folks ruined a great job you had making 75 grand, you're working 30 hours a week.
Yep.
They came, the new management decided to change the compensation structure that was working. That's the perfect example of how Circuit City went out of business. Same thing that a lot of politicians are doing today.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this clip, you want to see another one, click here to watch another clip. And
there is another clip, but I can say that for another time.
Yeah, because oh my god, I didn't even know that bit at the end where Pac-Man claimed that he made $80,000 a year working at Circuit City. That's just not true. If it's true, that's the product of some nepotism, because that's not what anybody makes working at Circuit City, right? That's what I find unbelievable. Everybody here, it might be manager pay. Yeah. Nobody would even come close to that amount of money. That's an insane amount of money. Just
I hope you enjoy that and got us
$80,000. $80,000 on 30 hours a week is $51.28 an hour. I don't think so, David. I don't fucking think so. What a sociopath. He's absolutely fucking lying. So, yeah, I don't think so. either David Pac-Man is lying, which is the most likely reality, or I don't know, he's not lying, and David Pac-Man was paid $51 an hour to work at Circuit City.
Which you are not going to buy.
Well, Circuit City, I think, now is out of business. Maybe why. Anywho, thank you all for showing up. Sorry for my cold, and we will all see you next.
You seem to feel a lot better now.
I do a little bit, actually. Like,
because rage and whiskey makes everyone feel better.
I guess it does.
I should be a doctor, by the way. I should just describe people.
You did. You helped me. You helped me with the toddy. Hot toddy really fixed everything.
Yeah. See, I'm not just a pretty face.
Anywho, we'll see you all next week. Bye bye.
Have fun.